Hey, this is Dan, Bob,
and Dr. Aggro
from GigaBoots.com, and welcome to our quick play of podcast number 15.
Wow.
Let me grab a controller.
I believe you have finally
Hit the
started
start button
to unravel.
Oh no, we haven't officially been delivering on the weekly format yet. Give it 2 weeks and I will break. As in, I'll take a break.
No.
Then I'll kill myself.
Because you're going to want to do that on break, because the killing yourself is not compensable time.
No. More Games needs Primus soundtrack. This occurred to me the other day. I was like, man, it's been since Tony Hawk. What was it? Project 8 that we've had a Primus song in a video game, I think. Or maybe
there's enough.
John the Fisherman was in Guitar Hero 3?
Oh, okay.
I don't know which of those came first. That's a gray area of being disappointed in Neversoft. I guess Project 8,
Why isn't it the Call of Duties now? I mean, why not?
Did you know, most people don't know this, Infinity Ward isn't really developing the new Call of Duties per se. They aren't making the game wholesale. They're more like handlers. The game is jointly made by, I forget the name, Raven Software? Raven Software and Neversoft.
Okay.
So they went Tony Hawk for a billion years.
Right.
Guitar Hero into the ground. And now Call of Duty every other year.
That in itself is weird enough. Let's take a step back. The guys who aren't even really Infinity Ward are, too busy to make the Call of Duty games
They crashed that
themselves?
company into the ground. And then because Activision wants as much profit from it as possible, they don't want to build it back up into a real developer.
Yeah, no. It's just good to have a little company logo.
Right, it's just a shell to put the logo on the game.
Because it worked for years.
Yeah.
I mean, Modern Warfare 2 and now this one, people don't know that the fact that it says Infinity Ward means absolutely nothing.
You mean Modern Warfare 3, right?
Right. Did I say 2?
Yeah, I said 2.
Oh, sorry. I meant 3. The last 2 games, yeah. Yeah, I just every time somebody's like, I'm waiting for this happened. I was like, I'm waiting for Modern Warfare 3 because that'll be way better than the stupid Black Ops stuff. And I'm like, that's not even being made by what should be considered a real developer per se. It's definitely not the original. That's just a name. Why don't you get this? Because they knew about the Fallout. They knew about all that, and they just, for whatever reason, irrationally held on to. This is the Infinity Ward one. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's that same part of my brain that thinks they need to make a new Crow movie because now we're on, 5? And the odd-numbered ones are the good ones. And it'll totally be good.
Wow, I thought this was gonna be like, the next PlayStation's gonna be awesome. I was like, wow, Aggro's just sort of give it up. Like, here you go, Internet. I'm biased. Man, I want to own that website. Game coverage from biased pricks.
Do we not?
Well,
does someone else on our website?
That's not our thing.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Gotcha.
Which, to be fair, and I think everyone listening to this podcast should identify these rules. Aggro here, his phrasing was, I decided I was getting a PS4 before we really, like, I made that decision before the Xbox One was a thing. Mm-hmm. It's not contrasting that. So he made the decision beforehand. It's not like factual, quote, objective choice here. So Aggro, to some extent, you would consider yourself a PlayStation fan. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And Microsoft sucks dicks.
Oh, yeah. All the dicks. All the dicks, all the time.
Flates dicks.
Titanfall's in the corner watching. But it's okay. I forgive her. I know she was forced into this. It'll be okay.
So, Bob... what was it? There was something you got really, really, really fucking angry about recently. And I said to someone, I think I was talking to Eric about this new event, but I said to him, I haven't seen him this goddamn angry since Final Fantasy 13 went to the 360 and delayed the US release.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, yeah. Yeah, he probably still hasn't forgiven anyone involved.
You couldn't look directly at Bob for a couple of days.
I mean, it's funny too because like I acknowledge this and I use that as like that's a property and I touch it and I'm not a part of it, right? But I remember being at that midnight launch for Final Fantasy 13 and just looking at everyone stupefied and angry, like, what are you buying? What are you doing? Just fucking angry as shit because that blows my mind. Now, I still hold on to the veil that I have decided on the PS4 because it's a technically superior console to the Xbox One. When really I'm a cheap bastard and went with the PS3 this gen because it didn't have online. It was a very neck and neck decision at the end there. And this sounds stupid in 2013, but it made sense in 2007. I almost got a 360 because I had custom soundtracks for Tony Hawk.
yeah, that game hit you hard.
Yes. God, that was, oh man. But in any case, and the music thing there is I also thought the 360 version of Project 8 ran a lot better, but that was because I tried it at a GameStop on the 360 in that first area of the game, which is really tiny.
Yeah, they lock you in there, and it runs right.
Like, it runs fucking swell as shit, like 50, 55, maybe even lock 60 most of the time, frames per second. But it turns out even on the 360, once you leave that area, it starts running like shit on a stick.
Wow, that's sick.
It's funny. It was just way too funny because I spent all that time being like, this is nowhere near as good as... Oh, well, I couldn't play on a stick anyway. So. I still can't play. How do you do that? You've played Tony Hawk, right, Aggro?
Yes.
Okay, can you play with the analog stick? Do you do that? Because there's so many inputs with like the manuals down up, and then you got special moves down right.
I don't remember.
Okay,
I just remember the soundtrack from 2,
which was bitchin'.
Spider-Man.
2 and 3 were fucking awesome games. 2X was a game. You know, it's kind of sad the Xbox never got Tony Hawk 3. They just got 2X and 4, and I'm like, you missed what is arguably the best one.
It didn't come there?
2X came out the year 3 did.
Weird.
See how that makes sense? Like, it's the two of them. They needed a game for launch, and they were like, 3 is cutting edge and hard. We can't port that to the Xbox and make it look better than the PS2 in time, so... Here's 2X with custom soundtracks and a new level and all the best levels from 1 and 2. And I remember the majority of the tone, like maybe not at the time when it came out, but the majority of the tone in general was, well, 1 and 2 were the best, so...
They still making cool borders?
No. They haven't done that in, let me check the time, forever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wasn't that on PS1 only?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
So
one of those games I had a demo for. Played it for years.
I really think they should bring back Jet Moto. Is a downloadable game.
That'd be cool.
If they're gonna stretch
but I think that you should only get one vehicle, and you pay for the rest.
I like this. I like this. Keep going.
Maybe 2 tracks.
2?
Okay, I'm sorry. 1 track.
Okay, do I buy the other?
Maybe.
Or is it a pre-order bonus limited for the first 3 months to the digital pre-order of the game?
Pre-order at GameStop, and you get the track you need to beat to finish the game. Wow. It's finally time to gnaw my own dick off. I knew this day would come.
Yep, you got it. In case you haven't heard, Aggro. Killer Instinct. Mm-hmm. God damn it.
God,
I can't even say... Okay, guys. I really wish the best for you Xbox One people. I see you as the guys who got on the bus, who really should have, and you're being taken off to a terrible, terrible place, and you have no idea.
I don't know, but most of them know full well.
No, they're delusional.
Okay.
They're delusional. They think it's fucking gumdrops and rainbows and fucking...
Because that's where the old bus took them, Bob. The bus that ran this route took them to wonderful places. There's a new bus. It's bigger and it's blacker. And so they get on the bus.
Really more
because it's expensive. It's the same bus driver. He smiles and he waves, but why is there no light behind his eyes?
So Killer Instinct on the Xbox One has only 2 modes, survival and versus, when it comes out. So the game has been stripped down to the absolute bare bone necessities.
I heard there may be a practice mode. Maybe. Yeah, right?
There's no, just not having an arcade mode why do you even have a non-versus mode at that point is what gets me. Like, survival...
I always enjoy survival, but
I
for that
do
to be the
too,
only
but-
mode in a game is like, what?
If I were to put survival in a list, that's... I don't... whatever. In any case.
What's so hard about programming something where you just fight the fighters that are made at launch in a row? Why is that
because you would
insane?
expect an ending at the end of doing that, and then when it just says, you did it.
Guilty Gears do that without an ending all the time.
But see, this is
What?
what...
Because if you cracked open the seal and actually looked directly into Guilty Gear's plot, your brain might melt.
I did that once. High school was a scary place.
I'm like, why is that chick got an anchor? He's like, no.
You don't want to hear that backstory.
There's a reason that they're making a Blaze Blue anime, and they will never do that for Guilty Gear.
Too many buckles.
Yes,
Buckles
that's
are hard to
exactly
animate.
why.
Totally.
So yeah, they announced some new characters for the Guilty Gear Xrd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw one of them.
Slayer and
Oh, that doctor guy.
yeah.
What's his
Oh
name?
man, how can I not remember? I remember half of the Japanese he screams, but yeah, the guy with the paper bag on his head is going to be in the new one in 3D. And but yeah, May Anchor Chick is going to be in that game. You saying that reminded me. I actually came upon that news just now, even though that's old news, and I was like, "Oh man, are you serious? Yeah, Anchor Chick."
I'm really surprised that they have
3D whales.
They have announced Slayer. That's weird. Like, they haven't announced Baiken or Anji or any of those other like classic starters yet.
And
but
I think
Slayer.
there are only 2, maybe 1 slot left.
There's 1 slot left on there, but then it says more to come under
okay.
that. So it's
Gotcha.
like, I guess they have
DLC.
DLC.
I mean, this is Arc System Works. That's
I
what they
hear
do.
the freaking Kokonoe for the new Blaze Blue is DLC. It's like, really? Really? You announced the DLC character this many months in advance of releasing the game?
Yup.
But hey, at least that new game does have multiple new characters. It's
This
not
is
just
true.
like 1 or 2, and then Kokonoe is paid for. It's
I think there are 2 DLC ones, including Kokonoe.
Oh, cool.
So it's cool. But the other one's already announced. So really, it's like, oh, that's just less that are already in the game.
cool, awesome, great.
Great.
I mean, it is basically like as we were talking about before, and this may have been a while ago. When we were talking about escalating prices of making video games, and how in the United States we're really fucking gridlocked on prices for some reason. Like, Americans are fucking crazy. Every game for this console needs to be this price. You are fucking with me if it's over 60, and if it's under 60, it's probably shit.
Yeah, I'm always surprised when this guy has come out for 50.
Yeah, like Japan, they're fucking crazy. So this whole DLC thing is a really interesting way to sort of sidestep and be like, the game's 60. If you're an addict of the game like I suspect you are, you'll double down on these characters.
I mean, if this is the final edition of Blaze Blue, I'm fine with that. But
I don't believe that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
the
Guilty Gear's back.
I'm saying final for this iteration. Like, if they go on, do something like Guilty Gear where it totally knew everything.
Okay, so
yeah,
we
back
need
to
an
the beginning.
Xrd-like reinvention of...
Right. Then
I mean, that would be...
fit.
Yeah, I see that as a pretty obvious move since we're going to the next gen and they have this 3D tech finalized.
Right.
I could see that eventually working its way to Blaze Blue, which already has 3D models for the characters that they just draw over.
Right.
Um,
Weird how this worked.
yeah. Yeah. It is weird. It is weird how this worked. So I guess we should talk about what games we're playing. Let's start with Aggro. Your list is short, isn't it? It's 2 games.
Yeah.
One of them Sleep, isn't it? Just kidding.
It's really not.
How many of them are Final Fantasy?
How many of them are I have a Leafy on now? That's what I
hey,
think we should be
yeah.
counting.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Leafeon.
Jeez, you need to get... You're near the end of the game then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one more
It
gem.
was like the mossy
and then the Elite Four.
stone,
Yeah,
isn't
the Mossy
it?
Rock. Like, as soon as I got an Eevee, I'm like, okay, I need a Mossy Rock for that, right? Okay, Mossy Rock, Gen 6. I Google it. Route 19. Or, no, Route 20. I'm on Route 6. Fuck.
No joke. That is exactly what I did too.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is Leafeon this amazing? Do I
No,
not?
that's the thing. Like, I actually, I'm like, what moves does Leafeon learn and at what level? So I just Google Leafeon, and I'm immediately bombarded with Leafeon's a shitty grass type. But I'm like, oh.
I just wanted an Eevee to use, and I needed a grass type in my unit.
I never need a grass type. I'm now 3 grass types on my team.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go for the full grass team this time for the Elite Four.
What was it, Grass Ghost? You have a Grass Ghost?
I got 2 grass ghosts.
Yeah.
I may be forced to pick between them.
God, they need to.
Okay, do you want the pointy grass ghost or the rounded grass ghost? Round?
And while
Okay,
I'm doing this, like, my ghost steals in the back, getting kind of nervous.
That Pokemon is awesome.
Do you know what's up with this stance dancing thing it does?
Do you?
No.
Okay,
Like,
so when it goes to attack,
Right.
it changes stance.
Uh-huh.
If you look at its stat chart is assuming it's in a defensive stat, and it is heavily in defense. When it changes stance, it flips the stat chart. So now it's insanely in attack and special attack.
Okay.
So the idea is,
Can I make it revert back to defense and combat?
if you use a move that's a non-attack move, like say,
Okay, that's
Bide.
not what I figured. I don't have any of those.
Yeah, but
on most of my guys.
he makes a marvelous tank.
I'm really bad at the meta.
Wait, are you talking about the sword or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Age of Flash.
It's weird. Like he doesn't go to the defense stance if you use like sword dance.
No,
And I'm like,
because
what?
that's an offensive move. Because it
Blow
raises
my
your
mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
What's like? They need some element in Pokemon where it lets you become a gym leader. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Did Bob just have a good idea? Get out of here, you. That's for me and him
That's
coming
the-
up with our schemes
We've been
about
wanting to
games
do
where
for first gen.
where
I want to be
we-
a gym leader. Got to pick an element.
Right?
monetize
What's your element?
resolutions.
I mean, I keep accidentally making myself like the steel gym leader.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
I
just-
know. You fucker.
It's stupid.
He's
fucking
like,
game.
Dad, let's battle me with my Infernape.
Fucking.
I don't.
This game, like
Close
a
combat.
chick's like, hey, I've got 2 Lucarios, let's battle. I'm like, no, you have 2 Lucarios. Then we find she's like, here's a free Lucario, and I'm like, what? What's going on? This is a trick.
The amazing thing was I got that Lucario, and it was completely and utterly redundant. Like, I just had a team that had everything he could possibly cover. Even in his moves he wouldn't be stabbed with, covered completely. And I'm like, thanks for the Lucario. This will represent our friendship, and shoves in PC.
I'm like, Lucario's like, I want to go with you on your journey. I'm like, that was a dick move that you just pulled on that chick. You're not coming with me fucking anywhere. The love and trust we have with our Pokemon. Oh, you're leaving. Oh, okay, sorry. Bye. No. It's like your power really shows that you love and trust your Pokemon. I'm like, my power shows that I can type match, you dumb bitch. How did you become a professor?
I don't think you're to it yet, but at certain points you get a chance to get a Pokemon from people, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll give you this one if you give me any Pokemon. I usually just give them Bidoof or something. And they're like, this Pokemon's great. And I'm like,
I'll be
"It's
right
really
back. Flies to specifically get a Bidoof.
What did
You're a
do?
fucker.
I forget what I gave that person. It was equally dumb.
Zigzagoons are awesome.
Yes, I think it was my Zigzag.
Anyway, I had actually played other games, I remember.
Yeah.
The
Stanley Parable.
I'm a few endings into that.
Stanley.
Yes.
Stanley.
The thing about that game,
Stanley.
for everything else that the Stanley Parable does, I'm always paralyzed when I play it because I'm going to be made a fool of by the narrator. Mm-hmm. And I can't stop that.
No.
And it irks me. So that I have to just swallow it and make a choice and then be made fun of by some fucking narrator. I'm like, damn it.
I like to believe, and this is why I love this game so much, that narrator has as much contempt for the paradigm and method of interface for game narrative as I do. Him and I get along. Because I just... The concept of authorship over a story that remains both high in quality and resemblant of the choice you've made, and how that plays into what that game does to you, is so fucking marvelous. I bought that game like really close to launch, maybe a week at most afterward, And then I realized, we can't quick play this.
Yeah.
People who quick play that thing, or like the Giant Bomb did a quick look, and some other places did previews where they showed it off. I was angry. It's like, no.
Yeah.
That's not... No.
Yeah.
I know I was in a room with people watching me devour the whole game, but they have more intimacy with the happenings of what's going on than I'm watching these internet celebrities fucking play this game. That kills it.
I also did the first little section of the Blackwell Deception, which I learned later got fucking ransacked for keys.
Yeah, they were doing... Kotaku covered this story, and I think Klepek did as well on the Giant Bomb. Basically what it was is the people who made Gemini Rue, after they made that game, a point-and-click adventure, they made a studio, and then they made some games after that, one of which was the Blackwell Deception. Well, I don't think they were promoting a specific game at all. They were just promoting themselves, I think. Like, let's get our product out there so people can play it and try it and stuff. So they had a promotion where people could get keys for Blackwell Deception on Steam. And then people just started ransacking the fuck out of it and getting multiple keys over and over and over and over because they found a way to subvert the system. And they're like, okay, take that shit down, system. The system was third party. So they tell the third party, hey, shut that shit down. They're taking way too many. They're like, okay, we'll take it offline. And they take down the link. But then everyone still has the link and they're like, fuck this. And they keep taking more and more and more. And they're like, oh my God, guys, shut it down. So like, okay, we're on that. And then even still, there was a way to fucking interface with it, even though they had shut it down to a significant extent. So 30,000 copies of that game got out for free.
Oh, internet.
Oh, internet.
Yep.
But it's okay because people are talking about the people who made Gemini Rue. At very least, they can look at this as publicity.
Well, I mean, the keys were free.
Yes.
It's just a lot of people got shit tons of multiples to resell.
Just to resell, which is basically the problem there.
Right.
I mean, obviously, nowhere near 30,000 individuals got those keys.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the thing. Did you?
Yep.
How's that game?
I like it so far.
Cool.
It's point-and-click adventure with stuff.
Yeah.
Does it have
You
like 2D graphics? Or
Yes.
Yeah, it's very
Is it
sprite.
Okay, sprite, not like pictures.
No.
Yeah, no. Very sprite.
Is it? And it's not that type. It's not Shadowgate. It's like side profile image style.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
character on
Lose Your
screen.
Suit.
Yeah,
Larry,
so it's
that's
like
King's Quest.
Yeah, I gotcha.
That game actually came out a while ago, like a year or two or something. Do you want to quick play it anyways? Like, this is all on you, because I don't...
Yeah.
Because I want to see it.
Right.
But I couldn't get a legit key, because by the time I knew... Do you want to quick play for me? I'm just watching, not recording. Okay, Dan, how'd it come out? How'd what come out?
I'm like,
This
do I
game
have to
looks
say yes?
good.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. Say it! From GigaBoots.com. Welcome to our quick play. I fucking hate you.
God.
At that point, it's a fetish.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm going off on the tangent my brain connected to. So I looked into the Twitch partnership thing, which is how you actually make money on Twitch. Only people of a select viewership level and quality or whatever get to be Twitch partners. And at that level, your ads are not only getting you money, you get to instigate the ads. You get to click a thing and it's like ad. So I looked into that. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's neat. And then I was thinking about this PS4 streaming to the internet. I'm like, oh man, this is just a really cool scene. The Twitch scene's way cooler than ever. And I was like, yeah, there are gonna be a lot of jackasses on Twitch with PS4s who are just live streaming me staring at a brick in a wall and neck because I'm eating a sandwich. And he's a partner, so he comes back to click the ad button. I don't know. They should build that into the PS4 UI. Hold PlayStation button and click this to run ad.
The DualShock 5 option, share, and ad button.
No. We can't call it the DualShock 5, guys. It's some other word, DualShock 5. They're going to be right next to each other on the front of the controller. So that way we know it's different from the controller the fucking console launched with.
What?
Just like the 6-axis in DualShock 3. Where it's like, no, it's 2 names, not a new thing. We need to make you feel as stupid as possible for buying this controller for Metal Gear Solid 4. My God, Sony early this gen. I like how fucking... Oh, this is beautiful. This is the best way to tell how fucked Sony was with their design of the PS3 OS. Their implementation of trophies is so fucked.
That's a good start.
That getting it working on any other platforms is fucking easy. But getting the PS3 to see any of their trophies is fucking impossible. That's just so awesome. That is such a shit system that it has the manual sync and all these other issues. And it makes games run bad. Like so many games. It still happens nowadays where like the trophy icon pops up and you drop frames. And I'm just like, fucking shit. Right? Oh, it's just splendid.
You heard that Metal Gear Ground Zero got a release date, right?
Yep. Did you hear? Metal Gear Ground Zeroes got a release date, and everyone's freaking out because they're like, what's the deal with this, man? This is so weird. What? Huh? And I'm like,
people are actually freaking out.
Dude, not just random people on the internet. Fucking people who run podcasts. And I'm not going to name drop them because I actually like... Fuck it. IGN. There we go. IGN's PlayStation Beyond podcast is actually really good. Like, that's an excellent podcast. But for some reason, they seem stupefied as to the concept of Ground Zeroes, even though for over a year now, we've known... Well, actually, for about a year now, we've known this is a prologue to this thing.
And you keep saying, this will get you ready for this thing.
And yet, for some reason, they hard announce, and this is where I get to tell you the details,
right.
On PS3 and 360, if you get the game digitally, Ground Zeroes, it's $20. If you get it at retail, it's $30, and both versions for next-gen consoles are $30.
I didn't hear about the retail version existing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now that part is surprising, I gotta say.
That part's interesting, yeah. But
I get they didn't have a Zones the Ender to tape this onto.
Yeah, which was what they were talking about. They were like, the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo was so awesome, it tricked them into making Zone of the Enders 2. And I'm like, good, somebody else noticed. Because I'm like, oh man, I don't give a fuck about Zone of the Enders. And Bob's like, no, Dan, this is you when you're 17, by the way. You should play this game. And I'm like, Zone of the Enders 1 was kind of cool early PS2, but I don't know. And then I see Zone of the Enders 2, and I'm like, that is the best game made ever. I need this.
And he never stopped saying that
ever.
Anytime he saw Zone of the Enders 2.
No, it gets annoying. I know.
Really does.
It really does. It really, really does. But yeah, Ground Zero, super psyched. Glad it's this little prologue $30 thing. Because I want a big Metal Gear Solid, but I want a Metal Gear Solid experience soon.
Yeah.
I need this next-gen tech to sing.
I hope it's not just one mission, because that would screw it.
Yeah, $30 for like one GTA-like super open environment would really blow.
Yeah.
No matter how cool that one environment was. Okay, to be fair, that's my objective call, right? That's me being objective and reasonable. But my irrational brain will take over once that thing's out, and I'm like, this is the best game made ever! $30 steal of the century.
You sneak into the base, you steal an orbital frame with a nuke in it.
Sneak out of the base, sneak in with a Jeep, sneak back out with a Jeep.
Beep, beep. It's a Jeep.
So yeah, I'm super psyched about that. Bob, what you been playing?
I'm playing a little bit of that Call of Duty Ghosts.
How's that?
Oh, wow,
How's that
is...
treating you?
How did that one guy on your Twitter feed put it? It's like you take a really big dump.
You just look at it and you go, whoa.
That's pretty big.
That's huge.
I've had personal relationships like that.
But other than that, I've been enjoying this guy D2. That's pretty cool.
Real quick,
What's
from
up?
a completely different direction, and I mean the exact opposite direction of my Twitter feed. Like, we went from British PlayStation mobile developer to American chiptune artist, super underground shit, retweeted an image of this guy pointing a camera at a toilet, and Call of Duty Ghost is in it. And that's all it is. I'm like, there seems to be a theme here. I wonder what it is. I wonder if there's anything they're trying to tell me.
Lovely.
So D2 is excellent.
It's
we
pretty
actually
good.
just got that quick play up 2 days ago.
I have to say, now that I've gone through like the main story, I am significantly disappointed with the storyline.
Yeah.
But it's got good mechanics and it's got good disgaea in.
Did you see that comment from who we're about to make very happy by saying this? Fox Cheese, who's talking about diagonal throwing has been in there before. You just really had to game the mechanics to do it. And
No.
that person guesses it makes sense to make it a normal mechanic. That's how you know they're a Disgaea fan. They're like,
Game of diagonal throwing? That's awesome.
Right?
Apparently.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could.
That's so
I wonder
cool.
how you did. I need to look that
Well,
up
first
now.
you have to
Yeah.
go to the truck with strength, okay?
Yeah. But you gotta be level 100 team of 6 Machamps.
And you gotta fly to Cinnabar Island.
That's actually really easy in this guy. You can just name all of them a champ, get to level 100 in like a day.
In like, yeah.
Well, more like an hour.
Yeah, more like an hour by the end game.
I'd name 6 archers Machamp and take them.
My God, I would love to see a Pokemon game that's just a normal Pokemon game, but it's being handled by a lot of the people at Nippon Ichi Software. So
That
that
would
way
be
it's like
amazing.
getting from level 1 to 100 just as hard as it is now. But at that point, like total like logarithmic scale, like now I'm level 873 and it only took 2 hours. And then you like hit them with Focus Punch and it does 1 billion damage.
Because obviously you've taken Focus Punch into the move world.
Yes, into the move world. You went into the move world to level up Focus Punch. Yes, I would love that so hard.
That would be
that's how we
amazing.
build deeper into Pokemon. Because we got IVs, EVs, all this shiny bullshit, all of this breeding stuff. Now we need move worlds. It's less dumb, in my opinion, than the Mega Ring and Mega Evolutions. Those are the pinnacle of stupid.
Yeah, those are just like, this is going to be gone next game, isn't it, guys?
I hope so.
I don't even think about that, but when you bring it up, I'm like, yeah, probably. Every time I see it, I just think, when I was really young, my mom one time got me a Digimon cake, a birthday cake, and I was just, like, embarrassed. And that's how I feel every time I use a Mega Evolution. I'm just like, go and do that thing that you're gonna do. Don't look! Nobody taped this! Fuck! Some Digimon fans fucking seething right now.
I saw the...
His name's Aggro.
Well, no, like, here's the thing about Digimon fans that I have discovered. People who are now Digimon fans, not just people who liked seasons 1, 2, and 3. People who are like, because there are like, I don't know, 4 more series, and they're exponentially increasingly convoluted and stupid.
Right.
Wow, how do you do that
There's like
after
a
3?
whole generation. Hey, I like 3.
I like 3 too,
Oh,
but it was
okay.
so convoluted.
Because like after 3, it was like we combined with our Digimon to be
Oh, no.
superheroes, and then it just keeps getting stupider.
No.
Oh yes, that should happen. There are entire
actually
people
seen
who are like, 1 was kind of weak, 2 was 3 was better, and then I'm like, I slowly realize as I watch modern Digimon fans rank Digimon series, is the entire modern Digimon fan base furries?
Yeah.
I think they are.
Yeah, the cross section.
Google's Renamon. Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I feel every time I use a Mega Evolution. Ah, shit!
Renamon, no.
Oh, don't stick that there.
Why would you make a poster of that? What do you think, guy who writes Mac Hall?
What is that guy's development studio up to? What's he up to?
3 Ring? I'm not certain. I haven't heard about any projects after
Spiral Knights?
Spiral Knights.
Yeah.
The game was really good.
Yeah, that's my understanding, but
Why isn't that hitting the PS4?
I don't know. It could be
Damn,
really
that'd be awesome.
successful there.
Oh,
I want
yeah,
that show on the
Aggro.
Vita. Yes.
Go pre-order digitally. Okay, this sounds really dumb
Oh,
already.
I've stopped listening already.
No.
Warframe.
Yeah.
You get extra stuff for pre-order on PS3 before you get the PS4 version.
And Warframe, in case you didn't know, is a free-to-play online shooter. Yeah. So just go to the PlayStation Store. There's going to be an icon. It's like pre-order Warframe today, Ghostbusters. And you click on it.
Okay, cool.
And you get shit. It makes no fucking sense.
Whatever.
Since I have nothing to tie to that, I'll just transition to a random bit of news. We got a new capture card for the PS4 launch. Hooray!
Let's hope we can get it working by the PS4 launch.
Hooray! Actually, it works with all of our same tools. The only baseline concern is that disc doesn't contain the drivers. And they're fucking with us.
See, here's a little GigaBoots history lesson. We have new technology. It should work. Not only will it not work, inevitably. I mean, that's just foot in the door, step one. We won't find, it may work that morning. That shit will wait until the room is 87 degrees before it fucks up. And we can't turn the AC on because it'll just take a minute to get it to work.
Okay, now that thing he's talking about, right? Imagine that 3 times in a row. It just stops recording, drops frames, we finish the quick play, we look, it fucking dies 3 times in a row. And when you think you know what that looks like, which you don't, when you think you know how that is, which you don't, go to GigaBoots.com and search for Trying to Quick Play. The Trying to Quick Play is exactly what happens after that happens 3 times in a row.
God, I love that Quick Play.
That Quick Play is fucking gold. I wish the entire industry was that over this shit by now. Here's the new Call of Duty, running, shooting, fuck, reloading, punching.
Didn't we lose an entire podcast to Vegas? Because it just decided
recording audio was pretty fucking homosexual. See, the cool thing is, ever since we got the Blackmagic design, which to add a bit more context, we got the Blackmagic design intensity capture card way back. This is what we're referring to.
Dan, the intensity shuttle.
The intensity shuttle. Thank you. Because that's significant, because that means it's the USB 3.0 version. Now, USB 3.0 just came out on x86, Windows PCs back then. So there were so many layers of getting that shit to work on my motherboard that I architected specifically to fucking do this thing. You could order a wrong motherboard for this USB 3.0 card. This is how fucking cutting edge and crazy it was. So this shit just dropped frames. This shit just didn't work. It just kept doing this, and I just kept trying to solve it for the longest time. Could not fucking solve it. Call it Blackmagic Design, because the shit's still under warranty, and I'm like, this shit isn't working. And you know what that asshole told me? He said, you're probably using a motherboard that isn't good enough. And I told him I looked at the block diagram of the bandwidth of every chip on that fucker to make sure not even the hard drive was sharing the same bandwidth with that fucking USB 3.0. And I told him he's fucking replacing the card because it's goddamn broken. And you know what he did? He fucking did it. And now it works. Fuck that guy. And ever since that, everything's been gold.
Yeah, that's basically how that story goes. Because he told us, we got to know it and it works now. You son of a bitch, it was broken!
It's the amazing thing. It's like Aggro said. It was broken, but you would wait until the middle of, the worst conditions. We were using a codec to make videos smaller, I think, even at that point. I'm not positive on that, but I think we were doing that at that point. So it wasn't a hard drive thing. It could have been a hard drive thing. Our RAID was functioning back then, so, we had 2 hard drives. We had nice throughput.
Yeah.
And it was compressed. And I just keep telling this guy, I'm like, no, it's not the fucking hard drive. No, it's not the USB.
But yeah, because back then we had Motion JPEG. That's what it was. For doing a lot of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we used that for some of that stuff.
I don't know. I don't know when exactly we got AMV3 as a codec.
Yeah.
I don't remember when we switched over to that. It's really funny. I was trying during my work week to figure out ways to render video better and faster. Because we have a 1080p capture card. That's going to make this so much harder. So I'm doing this research and I'm like, how CPU intensive is AMV3 codec? And I type that into Google. You know what I find? Second result is me having a conversation with the Digital Foundry about that fucking codec. I'm like, okay, there's got to be something else. Fourth return is Richard Ledbetter of the fucking Digital Foundry talking to some other asshole about that codec. I'm like, how can... But internet's gotta have more than this. And he was like 2 pages, and that was it. And I was like, how is most of this Richard Ledbetter?
Welcome to the outside edge, Dan.
It's fucking scary out here.
Yeah,
Right.
Because you can't just... Because this is how the tech world works. There's a forum with your answer on it. The minute you Google a specific problem and there's no random forum, you realize you're now one of like the 6 guys on the internet who writes that shit.
Now, the amazing part here is the reason why I can be okay with all of this. Like, our new capture card is vaguely in the same cutting-edge territory as this because there was only one review in English.
Oh, that's always...
It was a really intense review. God bless that guy. I've got to find some way to private message him and be like, you're awesome. But, yeah, the reason why I'm okay with this is because both of these cards do, like, they just put the video to the PC. And they're like, PC, you do whatever with this video. Fuck it. Whereas all those AverMedia things do this shitty-ass codec on the box and then stream the tiny thing over USB 2.0. And it looks terrible because basically what's happening is
They look like those Xbox One displays.
The box is... God, those Xbox One displays. We'll get to that in a bit. So the capture card encodes it into an MPEG-4 stream. Then you go into your nonlinear editor, or maybe you have the one linear editor in existence, because I still don't know why we have non as a part of that when it's software. In any case... Sorry, my brain's going way down. Like, okay, so you stack the videos and it has to render them in order.
Yes.
That's a linear editor.
No out-of-order execution.
No.
That's when they had to tape them together manually with actual tape.
It's 3 MacBook or Power Mac PCs, or whatever they call this, Mac Pros. It's 3 Mac Pros taped together. Don't open the cabinet. It's not a 360. They fucking...
That was the best day ever.
That was so much better than this E3 where everyone's like, oh my god, it's a PC, and it's an HP, and it's using an NVIDIA video card, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's nowhere near as crazy as 3 Mac Pros. Right? Fucking cabled together. It's like, no wonder this is overheating. There are 3 full-size computers under here!
That was amazing.
In any case, so it's been encoded on the box. You're encoding it again. So you're applying another layer of like lossy filter and all these issues to an already like corrupted video to some extent. And then when you upload it to YouTube, they do it a 3rd time. Mm-hmm. It just looks like shit. I love the Lazy Game Review guy, but he did a review for the cutting edge of AverMedia products, and he's like, this box is really easy to... This is my impersonation of him. He's like, this box is really easy to use. You just plug it in, blah, blah, blah. Here's some sample footage of me in GTA 5. And I'm like, that looks so awful. Please say anything about that. And then he's like, it's easy to use. And I'm like, thanks. But yeah, so in any case, it's okay to be on the cutting edge because at the end of the day, when YouTube actually lets us onto their good servers, which is always fun, you can tell when you've wandered too far. Like, do they have like, man, this video looks like ass. What's with this guy? Oh, he has under 30,000 subscribers. He's not on the good server.
Damn.
That reminds me, with that Battlefield 4 event a while back, they provided video capture equipment
Elgato,
that's what it was.
Elgato.
For everybody else, but then Digital Foundry brought their own, and it was like, of course they did.
Yeah. Like, I love how everyone's like, they brought their own, lol, and I'm like, no, they brought their own because it's what they can depend on. Mm-hmm. The really amusing thing in this episode of The Rant Is Go that just came out is about this. The Xbox One's outputting at a limited RGB color space, so what happens is the capture of the Xbox One version of Battlefield 4 that the Digital Foundry has looks like the blacks are all crushed, and then it runs at a lower resolution, which I believe was lacking anti-aliasing. I think. I don't know. It looked jagged as a motherfucker, so I didn't think it had anti-aliasing. So it's pixelated, sharp-looking mess with Crushed Blacks, and a ton of people look at that and then the PS4 version right next to it and go, I think that one looks better. I'm like, man, people have been trained by cinema to be like, they fucked with the colors. This is better.
I think DICE's official word was, you can't make a game look better by crushing the blacks. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. You're just
You're
not
losing
using
image.
part of the color spectrum, like the light spectrum itself. You're just cutting it off and being like, nah, fuck everything in these ranges. Which is, games do that. Like, I remember one of the things people were getting onto Halo 4 was this extremely limited, quote, HDR. Halo 3, sorry. Yeah, at the beginning of this gen, everyone was like, nice HDR. And this includes Dino C from the Heavenly Sword team. He was being a dick about it. He's like, nice HDR, Bungie. We have real HDR where we can bloody blah. And then they're like, yeah, we can have grass that looks good because of alpha blending. Your game has no alpha blending and it looks like shit. Your game looks like shit.
A little bit.
And the guy from Heavenly Sword just sort of, fuck you. Like, that's his witty comeback.
Well,
God, I can't believe they're making a Heavenly Sword movie. What
yeah,
the heck?
that still befuddles me.
Yeah,
No, I think that's awesome. That's exactly what the game should have been.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have Bohan, though.
But then what the fuck is the
Wait,
point?
Bohan's in it. It doesn't have the actor.
Well,
So-
right, because it's Andy Serkis, and he cost millions of dollars. He didn't back then,
Right, now,
Because
I guess.
all he did when Heavenly Sword came out was a Gollum.
But now he's done
Lord of the Rings.
Gollum another time.
Now he's gone Gollum another time, and he does CG, like he was the Planet of the Apes. He does all sorts of like video game and movie acting now, so I presume it would be more expensive, and that's
said
not
that it
where
was
this
a
product
schedule
resides.
or schedule conflict or something.
Bullshit.
It's like, yeah, but
Yeah, that's what a
He
schedule
was-
conflict is. You couldn't pay him to cancel
Right.
another project.
But here's the thing: wasn't it Alfred Molina who's gonna play fucking
Oh my god,
so
Alfred Molina.
the guy who played Doc Ock? I'm totally,
Yeah?
I'm
Yeah,
totally
Dr.
signed.
Octagonopus.
Dr. Octagonopus is Bohan, and I'm like, it's not it's him. I'm okay with this.
that might work because I was like, he was the only good acting in that whole game.
I was like, Spider-Man 2 wasn't a game. That was
Spider-Man
real
2
life.
is not a game, Bob.
Well, that was actually the best Spider-Man
you
game.
think this is a fucking game?
Oh no! It was also the best PS3 tech demo, quote quote.
It came with my PSP.
Man, Spider-Man 2 was really awesome. We all agree on that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was still
Okay.
like one of the best superhero movies ever.
That was like the Christopher Nolan Batmans of its time. Like it was like whoa, this is really good for a superhero movie. They're not all just dumb Superman stuff. I don't know, like for me it was that.
Yeah.
For everyone else it was probably like Spider-Man. He's not Superman, Batman.
It took him out. I'm like, all right, finally, this is all right. Good.
What?
Damn it.
What? No, Spider-Man 2 was excellent. I like Spider-Man 1 though, so like I guess you don't?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
This is gonna scare you. I saw that thing like 3 times in the course of a week. I've watched Spider-Man 2 so many times I don't even want to know.
Spider-Man was religion in my house. Like,
Oh, right, because of course the movies are blasphemy.
Yeah.
And I can understand.
yeah, the movies weren't horrible blasphemy, just subpar. Sam Raimi, make more Evil Dead.
that
He
first
did.
Spider-Man.
It's called The Wizard of Oz, or whatever that new one was
yeah.
called.
Oh God, Sam Raimi made that.
Yeah. No joke, Maddox did a video where he was just like, this shit is Evil Dead, but gay and for kids.
Oh,
And he just beat for beat shows how this movie is about a con man who gets conned into defeating the forces of evil for this kingdom, that blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I now want to see that movie. I did not care before he was just like, this is hilariously, he sold them the Evil Dead turned into the Wizard of Oz.
that I do need to see that now.
Yes.
Darn it.
Man, I guess I need to talk about what I've been playing.
I guess
It's a bit much. I just played Final Exam, downloadable game. We're gonna do a quick play of it, so you'll see that quick play.
No, go ahead and tell me all about it right now.
Actually, yeah, you kind of need to do that in podcasts because that's not a cross section. For example, you go to a site and it's like, I don't want to watch a video for this game. I could give less a shit. But if they say something in the podcast that interests you, you're like, oh, maybe I should. But yeah, so Final Exam. It's not about zombies. but it's about zombies.
Darn it.
They're aliens,
I was
They're
excited
aliens.
for a second there.
They're aliens, but it is straight up like... It doesn't seem like pulp alien lore and visuals. It really just looks like super dark corridors and things crawling through the dark and not... They glow green, but for all intents and purposes, it could be zombies. At least that's how I feel about it. Like, playing it, I was like, oh, I wish it was a bit more outrageous with these aliens. Like, that they were actually crazy, but they could be zombies, and it would be basically the same thing. So I was uninterested right off of the bat. But getting to play it a bit, it's actually not too bad. It's got a skill tree. It's a 2D, but with 3D graphics. So 2D gameplay, basically hack and slash, where you try to make your way through a level.
Is this a side scroller or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's side scrolling, and you try to make your way through a level. It's got various weapons, and it's got a skill tree. So you get 4 different characters, of course, because Left 4 Dead happened, and now that's the paradigm forever.
Oh, okay.
So you got 4 different characters you can choose from, each specialize in slightly different ways and get different special moves, and their skill trees is kind of Diablo 2 style of like, here are these areas. Admittedly, there aren't 3 or 4 pages of skill trees like Diablo 2, but that'll never happen again. I keep hearing of this game, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it is straight up like, you know which way Diablo 3 went? We're going to go the opposite direction and make this ridiculously hardcore. There's no gold. It's all barter system. And
shit.
Yeah, this game sounds freaking awesome. It's so balls deep that you can't respect. It's like, no.
Okay, I can respect that as a choice.
Yeah. Anything to not make it as soft feeling as a Spectre as a Borderlands ends up. Like, I want it to feel like each point is going towards something and it's really effective. Whereas Borderlands, a lot of Borderlands stuff, I don't know, like, as we were saying, it's really weird that each of those distinct roads don't give you a real, like, chunk of ability until the very end, and there aren't enough skill points in the game to get, like...
get all of them or anything.
So yeah, I wish I could remember the name of that, but I can't. But somebody listening to this podcast can, so go down to the comment section, which has been violated by YouTube yet again, and just type in the name of that game and hit post. And maybe, just maybe, it won't think you're spam.
No, you're not attached to Google Plus enough.
Yeah.
You're probably spam.
Yeah, that's the level we're at.
What
actually.
happened to YouTube?
Fucking horrible things involving Google Plus. I haven't looked deep into it, but apparently all these people making legitimate comments on videos are getting marked as spam, and the thing's now threaded discussion where you reply to individual users or something. And
Yeah, I saw that one of the Beyond the Grave comments was marked as spam, and I was like, that was him just responding to that conversation they were having. What the heck?
Yeah. I was watching an excellent YouTube video before this where it was kind of not funny. It was just some guy pretending to work at Google. He's like, hi, I'm a tech engineer from the Google Plus Video Center, YouTube. And I'm going to talk to you today about some of the changes we made and why we make changes. So here's our system. And when we store your videos on the Google Plus video, God, they still think it's YouTube data center, we actually... we do this, and here are our tools for it. Now, okay, just watch. If I scroll down, it scrolls down, and there's just gigantic button. It says, I'm feeling lucky. It's like, now, at the bottom of this software interface tool, there's actually this button, I'm feeling lucky. And when you click it, it actually makes arbitrary random changes to YouTube. They're irreversible. And this is on every Google employee's desk.
Nice.
I'd say that's pretty fucking accurate for how things are going. But yeah, so I played Final Exam.
Okay.
And yeah, we're going to do a quick play of that. So you will be able to see that in the quick play. I've also been playing Super Tank Poker. And every day I just think about, man, I wish I had a motherfucking PS Vita TV. So quick playing this shit would be easy. Because I don't want to frame and brace and record. And
Yeah, recording the Vita, and that's just a mess.
It is. It is a fucking mess. But Super Tank Poker, not a mess. Pretty fucking awesome. They fixed a lot of... Early on, he sent out some footage to me and some other people who enjoy his games and asked for some criticisms. And just about every single thought, idea, whatever that I expressed, just he took it into account and changed the game so that way it made a lot more sense. So Super Tank Poker, basically it's Advanced Wars style tank combat, but exclusively tanks, nothing else. And when you do battle,
there were other things in Advanced Wars.
We should play a game of Advanced Wars, you and I. But yeah, so when you go to battle another person, it's actually straight up poker. And the side you're attacking them from changes your advantage on your bet. Like, you'll get extra coins thrown in to hedge, to bet on the hand. So if you win the hand, you do that much damage. So if I bet 3, and then I play and I win, it does 3 damage to the enemy. But if I lose, I'll actually take damage.
Now, I know in poker you have, like, individual poker hands can go on for quite a while because of people like, okay, I'm going to hold and that sort of thing.
No,
is it something like that, or is
not,
it just...
That's different poker. Like, normal poker, generally speaking, is you receive 5 cards. You select which of the 5 you want to keep, and then you drop the others, and they deal that many to you. Right. And then that's it.
That's it, okay.
That's
There's
it.
No,
it doesn't. It's not Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
Nope.
Sometimes I get Magic the Gathering and poker confused. They're so close.
Sometimes Magic the Gathering bleeds into the edges of my reality at inappropriate moments. It happens a lot.
Yeah. I'd say that happens to me a lot, but it doesn't. And that would make me a liar.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of stuff with the PS4 controller, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a good controller. And the amazing thing is, I know people who hear me saying this, who know me personally, are like, Daniel's a PlayStation fanboy. He would say that about any controller. And I'm like, no. At the PS3 launch, I held that controller and I was like, this is weird. It's light. I like the lightness. This is weird. It feels like the future because it's so light. And then it became the DualShock, and it's like, okay, it's not light anymore, and all these problems are still here. No, this controller's so fucking excellent. I really think a lot of people, I forget who it was, somebody from the Giant Bomb, Brad or Jeff, was like, this is my favorite game controller ever made. Just hands down, like getting some time with this. Yeah.
Yeah. We actually busted one out at work and handed it to people randomly if they want to.
Dude, I have a
hand that shit to me right now. I keep looking over at him like it's sitting on the table. Oh, I'm so sad.
Yeah, I have a coworker who actually stopped by your job and he's like, yeah, the controller's really nice. I'm like, oh, they had a kiosk? And he's like, no. And I'm like, the fuck are they doing at that store? Hey, hold this, random stranger.
Hey, it's a lot better than our Xbox One display.
Let's go ahead and transition into that talk right after the break. So Aggro,
yeah,
you're holding that there controller.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, the fan's still on. Got to turn that off, sadly. We need a top dampener for sound.
Like a giant classic top hat for a microphone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're loving it?
I am. I got to play it that one time, and then I keep thinking about it. And I love this fucking controller, Dan.
I guess you don't need your own extra one. That's why you haven't just bought one to hold for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, you and me.
Yeah, we're fighting game obsessed. So
I really just never make it out to GameStop.
Don't they? They don't have them in Walmart?
I think GameStop's the only one releasing a lot of this stuff early.
Yeah.
Target isn't going to have Killzone.
That Monday.
That's weird.
Target isn't going to have Killzone and Knack until Friday of the PS4 launch.
What?
Yeah,
and they're doing the buy 2 get 1 free. So that is a serious issue. On
Killzone Knack. That's it.
Killzone
When
Knack.
do you get free?
No, all of the PS4 launch games, and I forget which ones are going to arrive, but Assassin's Creed 4 is definitely like Tuesday. Battlefield 4, I think, is somewhere between Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, it's weird.
I know
it's
really weird. GameStop, they're all supposed to be on Tuesday for those things. Mm-hmm. For like everything except Killzone and Knack that are already out.
Yeah, which makes sense. But I guess Target just needs a way to do a bait and switch. Hopes enough people will buy the random games as they slowly come out, so you won't be able to buy 2 and get 1 free. You want to hold the PS3 controller?
Yeah, I just noticed something.
What?
Well, on the PS3 controller, the center of gravity is straight on the face. so it'll naturally lean flat. The DualShock 4, it's weighted more toward the bottom.
Yeah, because it wants to put the weight in your hands,
Right.
which is why it feels lighter, but it actually isn't insanely lighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the weight's beautiful. I think my favorite part about the redesign of the controller over all of the obvious amazing stuff is the subtle difference in angle between the leg of the controller and the face buttons.
Yes.
Ugh.
Like, that properly elevates the face buttons to meet your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I noticed that while Bob and I were playing a shitload of Skullgirls. Speaking of Skullgirls, some news. Skullgirls development studio, I forgot their name. Lab Zero
Lab
Games.
Zero. I think that's
They fucking dropped Konami as their publisher. They were so fucking tired of their shit when it came to putting out a goddamn patch. Every time that Konami talked to the Skullgirls about the patch,
Right.
they're like, they keep treating them like they're doing a huge favor for Lab Zero. We're doing you a huge favor, so you should be glad we're even doing this. And then they would fuck it up by sending in the wrong version of the patch. So then it just fails to get, TRC'd properly, so they lose money on that. Mm-hmm. Then they have to send it through again. And Lab Zero's just this whole time been like, God damn it. So I see a tweet from one of the high-up people in Skullgirls development studio tweeting at Shuhei Yoshida. They're like, Shuhei, for some reason, Sony Computer Entertainment Japan is being really hard to deal with. We really need your help. Can you get them to just communicate with us? And then 2 days after that, they're like, our new publisher, which is Japanese-based Digital Hearts. I'm like, man, that was cool. Shuhei gonna get shit done.
Dealing with publishers is hard. Shuei's like, maybe for pussies like you, I pick up the phone and I get results.
He's on it.
On it.
You're gonna be holding
I am going to be holding this controller for the rest of the... You buckle up for that shit.
He's just leaving with it, and he's like, I'll buy you another. Slams door.
Oh yeah, we on the before we went to break.
Yeah, we said we were going to talk about
the Xbox One display.
Yeah,
so
what's
tell
up
us
with those?
about this Xbox One display.
Is a large monitor
Encased in, like, one of those stands.
Yeah,
like
with
you
a
expect.
stand and
Right.
yeah,
A little booth thing.
it's got a little window to look at the Xbox One, but really it's just half an Xbox One that's a display model, and there's a big sign that says real sensor, and it has a real Kinect in there. And then there's no actual console in it, just a little media player.
Now, the best part is because, that could be somewhat tolerable.
Hang on. So it's just playing.
It
playing
just plays videos.
And there's a real Kinect in there.
Yeah, because there's a slot to put in the real console.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the best part here,
So when you DLC the actual hardware,
when
later,
they have a fake console half sticking up. The rest of it's below the surface, right? So you can't look at it. The half of the Xbox One.
Oh no,
It's just
they didn't make the
straight up
display big enough to hold a full Xbox One up in the display unit because that thing is huge.
Right.
So there's just a window that shows one that they've cut in half and shoved in there.
awesome.
So, the best part about all this, the part that really made me, because once again, Xbox One people, even some of the people making it, not everyone running the show, I don't hate you. But I look at the damn thing, Aggro, it's playing the videos in 720p on a 1080p TV, which would be
It's
fine
42
if
inches.
it has... Yeah, it's a fucking huge TV. Which would be fine if it could scale properly, but it can't. And the screen is full of text that looks insanely pixelated.
Damn it.
Like,
And then
why didn't they just have the...
random, like, if they got a decent media player, this wouldn't be a problem. But randomly, the thing will start, like, playing the
Chugging.
videos. Chugging.
Like 10 frames a second or some shit.
Like, it's like Assassin's Creed FIFA. There's one frame of FIFA, and then another wave goes by. And
I'm really, really getting tired of hearing stories about how Microsoft is handling this, and at the end of thinking, wow, somebody needs to be fired. that feeling's getting old.
See,
Yeah.
I've gotten over that feeling. I'm now just angry at all the people whenever bad Xbox news, and this is going to transition into this gigantic arc of this fucking podcast. Every time bad news comes out about the Xbox One, there are a shitload of people screaming, it doesn't matter. I am so fucking sick of that. I'm so fucking sick of everyone who's like, it doesn't matter that it plays every game worse and is $100 more. That's not an issue. You should buy it anyways. Because Titanfall's so important, you need an Xbox One and need to get a worse version of every fucking game.
It is astonishing how every journalist is like that.
It's killing me. Like Sessler's doing it.
Yeah.
Sessler is sitting here and not just vaguely asserting this, but rather overtly saying the only people who would care about resolutions are complete fucking fanboys. No one cares about the quality of this $500 product being below their expectations other than fanboys. No one ever would care to compare a product that's coming out at the same time, basically, as another product in an apples-to-apples fashion, except for fucking fanboys. When really, as I said before, this podcast is hosted by stark majority fanboys, and we fucking don't care, basically. We don't care that the Xbox is running it worse because that's not our issue, that's yours. We're not out there on the internet freaking out over this. The people who genuinely want one are. The people who want a good experience out of this fucking box that's being, like... Did you know 10% of the fucking GPU power is being taken up by the Kinect at all times?
What?
Yeah, I heard
They're
about
doing
that.
GPU compute for all the Kinect shit. So 10%, regardless of whether or not you're using it, is being taken up by the Kinect. The OS takes another percent, and it's just 40% less powerful right out of the box. That is why Battlefield 4 runs so much better on the fucking PS4. I bought this thing to fucking play video games, and I wish these people would get a fucking clue and stop pretending that it being an all-around box is great. Yes, I want it to play MP3s. Holy shit, do I want my PS4 to play MP3s? That's fucking retarded. But no, I don't want it to TV, sports, TV. Fuck. I want it to play fucking video games the best it can.
Have you seen how the snap feature works on the Xbox One? I saw a couple videos of that now.
Describe it.
It'll, puts it there, and then it screws with the resolution of the game.
Yeah, it actually scrunches the game. It doesn't scale it down to have black borders.
Oh,
it
wow.
just
Yeah, just scrunch.
So, if you have...
They kept putting more and more tabs, and it was
Yeah.
like scrunch, and I was like, one little thing.
So then Cooler Instinct was like 100 pixels wide.
I was like, why would you do this?
Bob's legitimately upset.
I
What did you put in that gaming box? Was it not gaming? Was it something that made gaming worse? Take that back out!
Okay, Bob, I think I can calm you down. Take that DualShock 4. Now just make circles with the sticks and feel how good that feels.
That feels pretty
feels
nice.
so good.
Now notice how much harder it is to accidentally click on the stick while it's at an extreme angle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was something
No more
they brought
random
up.
God
knifing.
damn it, that's so good.
Huh.
But yeah, so I mean, how do you two feel about this? Does it irk you whenever bad news comes out about the Xbox One and people are like, yeah, we're upset that this isn't a box designed for gaming, that all the journalists are like, this isn't an issue. Stop pretending it's an issue.
Yeah, journalists this past year have really upset me. On
Yeah,
this.
journalists
It's like-
open their mouth and fuck them is basically standard cruise speed for me at this point with this industry.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
fucking
don't-
over this.
Because, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that PS3 was coming out, and they were legitimately upset about the games being worse on there.
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah,
And
that makes sense.
These are a
You should
lot
be
of the
upset.
same people. It's not even a turnover situation. This is a lot of the same people who are now pretending it doesn't fucking matter.
Because the problem here is like Xbox is the cool one. The 360 is the cool one. That is like some stone cold shit.
In the States, yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. No, fuck all those foreign countries.
To be honest, that is the direction the video game industry increasingly goes in.
Yeah.
The indie thing is sort of starting to solve that, where we're getting a lot of overseas indie games.
Yeah.
Have you?
I really want some.
Have you seen that thing I retweeted where it was like PS4, Xbox One exclusive list?
Yes, that was
Holy
amazing.
shit!
I was waiting for someone to do that, because freaking every time I saw one before
every
that,
time.
it was like, they included stuff like Loco Cycle on the Xbox One, and
Right.
none of the indie games on the PS4. I was like, That's all the exclusives.
Right.
Good job. You did your research, you fucking NASA scientist of a fucking journalist. But no, really, the list is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, the Xbox One exclusives is... And I mean, they cross-section it. So, like, Titanfall is Xbox platform and PC exclusive. They have categories where
Right.
they break it down, and all of this is on these... Yeah, the Xbox One is like a seventh as large as the PS4. It's a fucking joke. They're like, brrr! Because bringing the noise with the indies fucking works. Which, as I was driving over here, I was... sorry, you could get to your point, your perspective on that in just a moment. As I was driving over here, I realized the reason why it didn't bug me so much, and it really was the reason, twofold, that the PS3 ran games worse than the 360. Like, that was bad, and I acknowledged that, and I owned that. I understood that. I didn't pretend it wasn't a thing.
Right.
Fucking, the reason I went with a PS3 was two reasons. One, you didn't have to pay for online, and I didn't have the money around that time to be dishing out a yearly for fucking internet connection when I don't play a whole lot of games online. I prefer to have a close-knit local experience via LAN, which we did on shit, and Warhawk was really fucking fun for that.
Shit, yeah, Warhawk.
Two, PlayStation just has fucking variety. Like, the Xbox 360 may have sky-high budgets for their exclusives, and they get marketed out of the ass, and they get to be this zeitgeisty thing, but I like on the PS3, I got all these very different experiences. Like, I like variety. I don't want my two exclusives that are hugely pimped by the platform to be a shooter and then a third-person shooter.
Totally different games, Dan.
They are totally different games. One of them has a chainsaw gun, and the other one's
Has a laser sword.
has Space Jesus. But yeah, I don't know about you two on that note. What do you like? Why are you a PlayStation? Why do you own a PS3? Why do you like that over your 360? So
I mean,
much?
a lot of it was that you didn't have to pay for online.
Yeah.
And just, okay, I'm getting these next-gen games without that. And it really sinks going forward. We're having to pay for it, but at least there is something else there for people who play single player too. It's
Yeah,
like getting free stuff.
They did that extremely, insanely detailed hardware FAQ, and they listed all of the online functions or vaguely online functions you could do without paying for
and
Plus.
you can still do
You can
that
do-
stuff.
you can
I
do
can still
the
watch
live stream.
Crunchyroll.
You can watch Crunchyroll. You can live stream to Twitch. You can do all of this functionality. You just can't do multiplayer gaming. And
Unless they're free to play.
right,
Unless they're free to play.
see,
Which is another layer of
another
that's
layer.
weird.
God damn. And another layer
yeah,
of this
another
is that
thing-
they're adding those features. Like, down the road, we're getting... I mean, they seem to be building out their service online a whole hell of a lot because Sony was the underdog this gen. So it really seems like they're like, okay, you have to have online, but we're really fucking improving this. We're getting Gaikai to build, like, the fastest gaming network or the fastest network. Like, they got the Guinness World Record for... fastest infrastructure for a network in the United States. We're now throwing shitloads of money at them to do this nationwide. I don't hear shit like that from Microsoft. I don't have any inkling. I don't have the slightest
They have
inclination.
Microsoft Azure. That's good. You know that's great.
I don't. Because I just read something the other day from Microsoft's tech that explained how it's not great. Would you like to hear this story?
I would.
Apparently, when they update the OS for the Azure... now you know.
No.
When they update the OS for Azure, which they have to do on occasion, it will just fucking hard reset the hardware, regardless of what the fuck is even going on. So everyone playing Titanfall is fucking kicked out. Fuck you.
Huh. Nice.
And they stress, they do this frequently. They frequently update the OS because that's very
Not
much...
anymore.
We have to update the... Bro, have you seen Titanfall?
I was thinking that the other day. I really want to try Titanfall. I saw a good way to do it would be renting the 360 version. And I remembered that game doesn't have any offline functionality, period, at all.
Yeah. Well, don't you have one of those cards for Xbox Live?
Maybe.
You may
Sitting
be able to
around
register
somewhere.
that just long enough to try it.
Right.
Assuming that game is remotely close.
Yeah, I have to wonder how that
I
360
honestly-
Xbox One situation is going to deal.
I mean, here's the thing, like, the main reason why I
Call
wasn't...
of Duty Ghost seems pretty close.
why I wasn't super blown away by Titanfall is that it really isn't super pushing bells and whistles. It isn't insanely like, whoa, we can't do this gen. It was a very modest game, tech-wise and visually. So that's why I wasn't like, whoa, Titanfall, like everyone else was. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That looks like it could be a fun game. But the mech thing does seem a bit too intense to do on a 360. I think that's going to be janky as fuck.
There's a chance. Maybe it'll be Titanfall without the mechs. I mean, all I really want is the cool jetpack and running around.
The cool jetpack and shit's really awesome. But,
I mean, Mirror's Edge with multiplayer would just be better.
What would?
Mirror's Edge with multiplayer?
Oh, yeah. You just run at each
oh
other.
my god.
And fall over.
That'd be really cool. We are getting a sequel, right? That's still happening.
Still
I didn't dream that.
Okay, now working
Because
backward.
I'm like one of the few people who's like Mirror's Edge. Yeah, I really like that game.
One of the few people. I think this whole friends group was like that was Mirror. Okay, I'm throwing this out there, and I want people who listen to this podcast to actually comment and respond to this. Mirror's Edge was the promise that they did not deliver on for this gen. Here's something we couldn't do before. That's fucking amazing. Next gen's gonna be great. And then after that, it's like, these are all shooters.
Yeah, right?
I seriously thought it was going to be a fucking renaissance of all these, like,
Right?
holy crap, I never thought first-person platforming speedrunning game.
Yeah, like
This is
every time I
awesome.
try to remember what was so magical about 2005, I'm like, what was it at the beginning of the PS3 cycle? I'm like, oh shit,
It's that feeling.
Mirror's Edge.
Just like,
We're gonna get super focused experiential games that cover this wide range of interesting new game modes and topics. Shit, yeah, full 3D action has come full circle.
yeah.
That didn't happen.
So, working backward, Aggro, why do you PlayStation? Like, PS3, you bought it, you stuck with it. You didn't defect to 360, you sort of started doing a bit more PC gaming at the end because this gen went too long. Everyone knows that.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, shoot. From the waist.
From the waist.
Bang, bang.
I had a PS2 because I had a PS1.
Okay.
I had PS1 because my brother got one for Christmas. I got the 64. We split time. And these are purely my fanboy decisions that I have retroactively plugged into a narrative that has emotionally paid off for me.
Yeah.
I had a PS2 and I bought Ratchet and Clank and I never looked back.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
is how my Sony story starts. The Xbox came out like it could do all this. I'm like, I honestly had the reaction as soon as I heard Microsoft made a console. I'm like, wow, dick move, guys. Go back to making PCs.
Okay, now here's the amazing thing. Everyone who's like approximately mid-30s right now feels that way about Sony.
Yeah?
They're a hardware company. They made Walkman. They made TVs. Go back and make that shit.
Microsoft started making a console to get some of that sweet gaming money, which is not a thing you really blame them for.
Which is fucking hilarious in the larger picture, right? Because they lost so much goddamn money.
Sony
Note on
started
that
making video games out of revenge.
Which is
That's an awesome story, I gotta say.
It's such a fucking quixotic, like, romantic as fuck story. Like, that's... life should be like that.
Now,
We should burn bridges because those bridges piss us off.
as far as the PS3 360 thing went, I got a PS3 because we were all getting PS3s.
Right. That was fun because that was just our bubble.
Right.
For the
Yeah.
longest time, everyone was like, I got a 360. This thing's janky and stupid. And we're just like, no, it isn't. That's all we can say for the longest time. I don't pay money to play Call of Duty online.
That,
But it's not as good, is it?
I wouldn't know. I didn't play it on there.
yeah.
That's,
It doesn't matter.
It really...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No,
The
it's,
360 came close for me because I know you guys know this about me. I have a visceral, concrete attachment to the color green.
yes. He's wearing, right now, just so you know, an undershirt that's completely green. An overshirt that's like
Plaid green.
Plaid green.
Yeah, I am wearing 2 green shirts at this moment. So
Probably a
every
third.
time a commercial where Microsoft paid for a multi-platform game to have the Xbox logo at the end, it was like, oh, that game. 360 logo. I'm like, oh, it's green. It's good. No. Wait. Damn it.
I have to say, I probably have some deep-seated hatred for Microsoft that's not even related to Xbox. So that's probably a lot of reason why I just...
Well, you did own Windows ME.
I owned Windows ME, yes. This is something
I did that
happened.
one too, yeah. I went from 3.1 to ME.
I went from 95 to ME. 95 was good.
So it was 3.1.
It was.
It was good. It wasn't as good as 95.
No, I missed all that 95 shit. I'm like, oh man, Chip's challenge is the ball shit, which it totally is. But then I'm like, it's time to see the future of computing. Went from 3.1 to Windows Millennium with a cable internet hookup. I'm like, let's see the future. Crash.
Yeah, that's the Windows Millennium experience.
I mean, that's sort of the larger story here of like when they have something functional, they sort of fucking break it and do something bullshit with it. Vista.
Yeah.
XP was around for a fucking long time and it was perfectly rock goddamn solid. What?
Oh, sorry, I just remembered why really I viewed the Xbox as adversarial when I had a PS2.
Yeah.
Halo fans.
Yeah.
I just hated those people. The ones that I
Oh
knew.
no. Oh no. Oh no. We were those guys this gen, weren't we? Oh no. Oh no. You guys want to come over and watch some Blu-ray movies? Because I got a PS3 and you don't! For the sake of clarity, I never yelled that, and I actually regret that now. Because that's a really funny thing to yell at someone in 2008. Because they're like, I heard Blu-ray isn't that much better.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference.
It doesn't matter, you guys.
Oh
like,
God, we're hitting that again. Oh no!
Every time. Now, you were talking about PS3, like you hated Xbox. It was adversarial because of.
Yeah.
So you're just saying linear, like chronologically speaking, you got a PS1, then a PS2, then a PS3. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I stuck with that console. Because Medieval was really awesome.
Yeah.
Sony has basically ridden Medieval and Spyro in my mind.
Spyro
For like 3 generations.
was so fucking good. Dude, the Japan studio of Sony, I'm not sure if you guys saw that article that came out recently, how they got the guy who made the extremely powerful, extremely successful Sony Santa Monica. They got the guy who fucking made it what it is, structurally, organizationally, everything, to go and like 2-3 years ago restructure Sony Japan. So that's why
that's what he's been doing over there.
Yeah.
I know that he's shown up at some trade shows and stuff and conversations with other creators, and he's like, yeah, I'm in the Japanese studio now doing that he never says what.
Yeah, so
He says it like that. I'm in the Japanese studio doing...
yeah, so he's the one getting The Last Guardian back on track.
What?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, that's still in development. They completely restarted for the PS4. They didn't announce that it's on the PS4, but they have the dev kits in that part of the studio. So it's restarted on the PS4.
I'm going to officially and completely unwisely, I should say recklessly, I'm going to hope again.
Yeah, I'm already hoping everything that's been done after this guy came in. I was like, wow, Puppeteer. And then I was like, Reign's made by Sony. They're making Knack? Japan? All these things are coming out of Japan? It's like, what's happening? These look polished and have that like nice artistic air that Japanese games just, they drip with. They have that nice, like, every frame's intentional. The aesthetic is this beautiful thing. And then Gravity Rush as well. All of this stuff is because he reorganized that company after burning it to the ground.
Yeah, that's kind of how you have to change Japanese organizational structures.
He got in there and they were like working. Everyone was working on like their own games, basically. Like everyone was just doing their own dream project, and none of it looked like. He was like, "This isn't how you do development."
Yeah.
Hi, I made Sony Santa Monica. You kind of owe me for the American marketplace. So what we're going to do here.
Yeah, you got to look at a Japanese company like the original Final Fantasy XIV. You just got to look at that mess and go, no, sweep that shit off the table.
Yeah, so that's what he did. We've seen 4 games in the last year and a half just from his era. Wow. Yeah, and you know how this gen was. You know how Siren is the only thing you can name off the top of your head that was made by Sony Japan.
Yeah. That's really good that that's being fixed, because
like
Gravity was amazing. Puppeteer, what I played was really good.
Like really good. And the visuals. Yeah. I mean, it's just so awesome that it's a fucking marriage of that. Because you weren't... This gen has been so devoid of good visuals and aesthetics married to good gameplay. Vanquish was ugly. This is my problem.
Linger in Shadows was just terrifying. But I platinumed
it. I really want those guys to make a PS4 thing.
Right.
I don't want it to be like Datura. I want it to be abstract on the layer of Linger and Shadows. So yeah, okay, so that's that's why you went with a PS3.
Yeah, I am pure lawful fanboy on this axis.
Okay, we roll back even further to that first question of like when these articles come out, when these facts come out of like Call of Duty is going to be 720p on the Xbox One and 1080p on the PS4, and this is a whole new console. Battlefield 4 is going to be this, that's going to be that. All these developers are saying this is weaker and that this thing is having issues. And there's this counter measure of like not just fans, because that I'm used to. I'm still annoyed, but I'm used to a unanimous loud as fuck people screaming as much as they can, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But journalists starting to do this.
Because that's the problem. Is they're just being fanboys.
Yeah.
And being a fanboy is like being a fat kid. Do it all you want, welcome to America, but don't act like you're something else.
Right.
You put on the tie, you put your name in the byline, you're being a fanboy.
And
Own up.
I kind of like, that's why I like what they do over at the IGN PlayStation podcast. Like, there's no kidding. I mean, it's an IGN podcast, but they've separated themselves from the other like sectors. They had one guy on who wasn't just straight Sony coverage, and it was weird. One time.
I hear there's also an Xbox one for that, and
it's fucking insane.
And they're awful.
Yeah, they're just straight up this.
They are those super fanboys who will just say, "Oh yeah, of course Titanfall's not coming to anything else." I was like, "Well, yeah, like 1 month they just got that deal. They were saying, yeah, it's coming to everything else like a month ago, guys."
And then the publisher was like, "Nope."
Yeah, without them even knowing. Like, that's just crazy. Those guys.
Oh god, really... it was a Rayman Origins situation. Rayman Legends situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Only in reverse.
Only in reverse. It just really annoys me because
that's something that always kind of irked me about Microsoft. They will just buy those exclusives like crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel that both Sony and Nintendo are kind of above that. Like, they will fund projects. I can respect what happened with Dead Rising 3 from Microsoft, because that game wouldn't have happened without Microsoft stepping in. And almost certainly.
Like, that's what they're saying, and whether or not it's true, we'll buy it. Wholesale will buy that. Capcom's fucking stupid.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a stretch of the imagination.
That's a law of
that's
physics.
Not even a reach over to get the remote of the imagination.
Wow.
But yeah, Sony and Nintendo to a lesser extent. I think Sony's really on the
Sony's
front line
really
with this.
Against.
I mean, they're funding. Let's all go to the. What is it? Let's all go to the. Whatever.
Oh, the Rapture.
Yeah, let's all go to the Rapture.
Oh, yeah.
And things like that. Rhyme. All these other things that are just like really cool projects. I love the story, let's all go to the Rapture. I love that as a narrative of like, they're like, we want to do these amazing things with this game. And then they're like, man, we need so much money for this. But we're just some indie devs who get street cred for making these things. Who could possibly? And then Sony's like, and of course, it sounds like Willem Dafoe, and he's like, "Hey, kid, come here. You want to be famous, don't you?
Get on the train.
Get off the train.
Go out, a cardboard box. Are you wearing pants under that?"
I don't know. It's just like Sony Santa Monica is amazing. They're blowing my mind. You know, Aggro, did you know that we're getting games that are out on the PS3 and the Vita again on the PS4? And if we bought it on those, they're fucking free. Flow, Escape Plan.
Damn.
On the fucking PS4. Way better versions of these. Like Escape Plan's full 1080p instead of being the Vita's resolution.
How are they?
They said they're using the shoulder buttons and the touchpad to correlate a lot of the things they used to use. Oh, and analog sticks. It actually doesn't sound too bad, so it could be good.
It's one of those things you got to see how they execute it.
Yeah. And then Flower is now like insanely gorgeous compared to what it used to be, which is a fucking crazy statement in and of itself. It's like 1080p, 60 frames per second, fucking tech wizards over at Sony Santa Monica. Motherfuckers don't joke. Fucking, yeah, Flow, whatever, don't fucking, I think that wasn't that 1080p to begin with? Like
I guess that's one we'll get, because I bought that game.
Yeah. So we'll get to quick play that. Everyone look forward to that shit. And then Sound Shapes is also going to be on the PS4. So I'm super psyched to get this free shit that they're just like, yeah, all that cool shit. Boom. I mean, like, we're talking about how cool it is that they fund these developers, and it's not just, hey, kid, come here. How many millions do you need for that Titus Fallen?
Yeah,
and you know, like, they have a dedicated guy at Sony to work out, like, we own this IP. Do you want to see that again? Send me a message. Tell me, and I'll see if I can find some developers to make that. There's a guy at Sony. You, Aggro, can go and tell you want Shadow of the Beast, but slight problem there. They're already working on that. That's how cool they are.
I don't know. Like, I sent him a letter. I'm like, hey, can I get a sequel to Chrono Cross? And he's like,
we didn't.
First of all, Aggro, I know you didn't play Chrono Cross, all right? So you're just fucking with me. Secondly, there is an enormous metal phoenix that guards the rights to Chrono Cross. That's what they've been pouring all their money into over there instead of making that sequel. Not really sure why.
Japanese companies are really amazing this gen. Like, nobody wants a sequel to Chrono Trigger because they didn't buy the 4th port of it. Yeah. Nobody wants Mega Man Legends 3 because they didn't show up in our forum. That was their excuse.
Yeah, I know.
It is stupefying when things like this happen. But in any case, so much like I've been hoping, and much like my logical brain has been telling me because of the engines and tools and the mature hardware platform that is the PS4 because it's based on PC shit, this gen's looking way better than the last gen. Because getting shit running on it is not hard, and they are just working with these indies. We're like, we see that indies are kind of the future. We're just gonna, you can come on over, and we're still gonna be fucking amazing, cutting edge. I saw that fucking Killzone footage, which I love the blog post he did when they put that on their site. They were like, we wanted to do a high frame rate, high quality video of Killzone Shadowfall, and we think YouTube would completely undo all of the visual whiz-bang and things like that that go into this game. I think this deserves better than that. So we're putting this file up for you. And I'm like, Killzone's good, but it's not watch as And that's me. Like, I've read the technical, like, white papers on that game. I know all of the whiz-bang going into it, very detailed for someone who doesn't work at the company. And I'm just like, holy shit! Naughty Dog's gonna make me shit myself to death just next year. It's probably gonna be at the Spike VGA.
Ready for Naughty
They're
Dog.
probably gonna be like, Uncharted 4 looks like people!
Like, seriously.
Uncharted 4 is people! Ah!
I am emotionally unprepared for another Naughty Dog game. I cannot.
Because The Last of Us was insane.
It was Santa Monica's working on a space game, not Naughty Dog.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing.
Santa Monica is going to be
I want to
in
see Drake in space, okay?
Space traversal section.
I mean, they have 2 teams. And,
no.
And Naughty Dog was recently at that space company, SpaceX, I think it was. They were actually out there. So there's Naughty Dog and presents Uncharted in space.
One of the things that keep running over and over in my head is that Insomniac said that they're not making Resistance anymore. But that, you know, whoever might. So I keep thinking one day Naughty Dog's going to announce that they're making Resistance 4. And if they do, I want you to bludgeon me to death. Because my life will never get better than that moment.
Not even the game itself.
No, nothing could compare.
I mean, I really could see them doing that. After The Last of Us, though, I think Sony will probably want to continue that IP. So I really see Sony Bend taking up Uncharted, because we already know Naughty Dog's making Uncharted, even though they haven't announced that. That leaked via that actor being like, yeah, I've seen some of the shit they're doing for the next Uncharted, which I'm in, by the way. It's looking great. And I'm like, thanks, actors. You don't get this industry at all, you fucking shitbags. Who are you again? Oh, the fucking heroin addict on Lost. Fuck you! Get out of my industry.
And what I'm interested to see if they make an Uncharted 4, is it going to be more like 3 in The Last of Us, or are they going to go back more toward 2?
Maybe I'm wrong, but I would say 2's closer to The Last of Us in a certain error that it had. Some quality of that game, something I can't even articulate, just seemed more poignant in understanding what it's doing than Uncharted 3 did. And like after I sort of experienced that, in retrospect, I realize now that there's a good bit of the Uncharted 2 upper management that did The Last of Us instead of Uncharted 3. Amy Hennig was going it alone on Uncharted 3, I believe, or had a new game director working with her. Whereas with Uncharted 2, she had Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley, who did The Last of Us, working on that. And I mean, I really can't articulate what exactly it is. Like something about all of these things came together perfectly, and there weren't any like bursting seams that felt like weird.
There's a lot of stuff in the overall big picture of a game that you just feel.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to explain to my mother why I didn't give a shit about the last kill zones, but this one looks really good. I'm like, I can't just tell you.
I have been doing that game for 6 months now, trying to explain to people, or well, wait, what month it is? It's November now.
Yeah.
So the last 5 months, I've been trying to explain to everyone who is even vaguely interested in PS4. I'm like, okay, look, it's hard to explain, so I'm going to try my best with things you understand. So you know GoldenEye single player.
And it's multiplayer.
You know Battlefield's multiplayer. You know GoldenEye's multiplayer. Now just all that, but with whiz-bang out the dick.
Whiz-bang pop, motherfucker.
I was trying to... I have to go shoot that game a lot at my job, too, I'm trying to tell you, Killzone looks amazing.
Like,
it's hard to do because...
I've never played a Killzone. I don't care. I don't care that you don't care. You need to care.
I ran into one guy who was like, I didn't like single player for GoldenEye. I was like...
Then there's nothing we can do for you.
The door's right there.
Right, turn right the fuck around. What are you even doing in here, you soulless fuck?
That's not the same level as the person who's like, I didn't like Pokemon Black and White. It didn't have a Pikachu. I'm like, you could just fucking die.
Right now. No, look at me. Look at me. I hope you get hit by a car.
I'm counting the seconds. Not down, up. And I'm getting angrier the higher that number goes. I mean, if anyone listening to this is like, I don't like the last Killzones. I don't like any of them. You need to understand, this new one isn't even the same fucking thing. God, that game. It just amazes me how much better it looks since February. They're like, yeah, February didn't have any streaming texture stuff, so our textures were very much limited by how much RAM space. And we were just trying to get the shit up and running just in time for that fucking thing.
I think the great thing here is finally we got a Killzone where the first thing we heard about it wasn't an amazing tech demo.
Yeah, or a Photoshopped
Someone
image.
go, it's a Halo killer!
God! I'm really glad no one's saying that.
Halo's committed suicide.
Yes. Fan
Halo
base
has
suicide.
dragged itself out over some rocks.
I think as a huge fan of Sony and a person who hates company shells churning out sequels to things, late next year when the new Halo is supposed to come out, and undoubtedly an Uncharted is probably due, that's going to be a really great moment in my life. Because I fucking hate 343 Industries. And I fucking love Naughty Dog because those guys are fucking sorcellators.
I keep thinking of the amazing statues they carved out of the enormous marble block that was the PS3's architecture.
Yeah.
And I wonder what they're going to do with the beautiful red Georgia clay. That is the PS4's internal workings.
It's amazing. I wish Naughty Dog did more like technical papers like Guerrilla Games does. They're like probably the most open Sony studio out there. I hope at GDC there's some cool stuff we get from Naughty Dog talking about, oh yeah, this is how we're using GPU compute, and I probably will be fucking amazed.
How did you get the cell processor to do this? What have you been feeding it? What? Have you been feeding it only male virgin interns? Because if you throw anything else in there, it's just going to come up the works. Like, Like using the program? No, feeding it. Pay attention.
8 kilobytes. We only have 8 kilobytes for this entire level? That still gets me about The Last of Us. Like, that's one of the best stories I've heard about game development ever. Like, the thought of we only have 8 kilobytes in this entire level left that we can... They're streaming textures! What is... But yeah, in any case, yeah, so next year's gonna be fucking nuts. Yeah, a large part of why people probably think I'm a huge Sony fanboy this gen, because I really, like, compared to the PS3 gen, I am super more apparently that than last time. It's because I believe if you're going to go out and spend $400 on a device to fucking play video games, it should do the best fucking job possible. And the PS4 just totally does that over, like, these other...
But you don't get voice commands, or...
You do.
You do. You really do.
You don't get Kinect.
No, you don't.
No, you
get
don't.
a different camera.
You don't get
speaking
the
of which,
sensor.
Speaking of which, you said you're probably picking up the camera. Is that right, Aggro?
Probably. I usually do.
Okay, because, like,
Are
Playroom
they going to
comes...
make Eye of Judgment again?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Playroom-
that's
I
not
would buy that shit.
Oh my god,
probably
you could
will
Eye
make
of Judgment, just pulling the cards up instead of having the board. And
Yeah, and it's high
something
enough
like that would be
resolution
cool.
to properly scan it. I don't think they're going to go with that again because of people's ability to subvert the card interface. You were able to print it out, and then, yeah.
Right.
All right.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, I love Eye of Judgment. That was another one of those Mirror's Edge moments of this last generation where I was like, oh my god, it's becoming something more. And then halfway through, I'm like, it's reverting. It's
The industry
devolving.
just collapsed into entropy.
Yeah. It was really sad. And this next gen, because of the large presence of indies, I'm starting to think, like, because it isn't an insane feat just to get things running on the hardware.
Right.
It's not some fucking space science.
I mean, just seeing the Japanese developers are releasing games,
Right.
Like in
Right.
the first,
That's always
the first
refreshing.
day, and then in the first year, we're getting more.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, Dynasty Warriors is hitting it, like, really early on.
So
and
is
I'm like,
Yakuza,
nice.
and it's like
Beautiful. What I love about the presence of all these indies is that, like, this is why I love indies in general.
yeah.
Not every indie studio is amazing.
Right.
And that's why I love them. Because a few of them made great things, and then everyone gets to wear that indie label. But so many of them are just grist for the mill. You had an interesting idea.
Wow, every podcast.
oh my god.
Fuck you, Bob.
Awesome. This is awesome. So no joke. Hasn't been picked up on M4G. Don't know how he found it. Motherfucker must be just tripped up on drugs. An Xbox One fanboy has already found the Rant is Go that went up earlier today talking about the resolution thing. And double posted giant... Were they all caps or did it just read
Just
like
read
it?
all caps.
It read like it was all caps. Crazy fanatical posts that were insane. You know how you say this one thing?
Totally want to see that.
It's like numerology, but for words. And it didn't even address the thing that it was about.
He somehow got to the point where he was talking about how it can support 7
It can
controllers.
support 6 motion control players. The PS4 is so fucking weak with its slower CPU. You know what? I'm just gonna edit it so this goes in because they need to hear this too. It goes fucking weak ass shit with its slower CPU. It can only do 4 players.
Huh.
This guy's insane. And I am absolutely confident he's not listening to this podcast. Unless, and this
I don't know. He might
unless
have
this
engaged
would,
serial killer mode.
unless, and this would be really funny. One of our fans listening to this was like, wouldn't it really chap that guy's ass if I just private messaged him a link? They're talking about you. They think you're a real dick. Which to remove
Oh wait, no,
that...
hang on. This is Xbox fanboys. I know this.
Yeah.
You are. I think you're homosexual.
you're speaking Xbox.
I have had carnal knowledge of
mother.
one of your parents. Either way, really,
Oh,
it seems
okay.
to work.
Yeah. I'm not an expert, so I
You're
should probably let
also
us do his
probably
own
a
thing.
minority. And I want to enact horrible physical violence upon you, which is also sexual in nature. No homo.
Also, your gamer point score isn't legit.
Whoa, Dan.
I'm sorry.
Whoa, back off.
That was a bit far.
Are we on E3 2010 over here?
Things are real. Things are real. So yeah, Battlefield 4 looks really good on the PS4. I'm so doing that Target thing to get that. I'm gonna figure out a fucking way. Because the Target in Destin doesn't really have Gamer Shop there, it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only limitation is what they actually fucking stock.
Right.
This is what happened with the Vita launch. They also had a buy two, get one free, but then they only had like 5 games. But the Vita was a flop, and the PS4 is looking like a fucking home run of a console, which I really think Bob was talking about it earlier. The journalists may just get a thing out of rooting for the underdog and being like, hey, don't point out how shitty this shitty thing is. That's not cool.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy that?
I mean,
I
part of
don't.
me doesn't buy it just because it's like they can't be the underdog, guys. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
They were big this last gen. They became the underdog only through horrible things.
I mean, I really just see this as the 30-someths who feel the way about Sony that we do about Xbox. And the amusing thing is they justify this because, Sony's a hardware company. You get out of our games. You just want profit. And we're like, Microsoft is a fucking OS company, which, they were when the Xbox original came out. Now they're the confused, profit-bleeding company. Get out of our games. And, Sony sort of transformed itself in the last 2-3 years to properly be a company that heads their fucking console divisions with people who've made any video games.
Right.
Which is, did you know Mark Cerny actually architected the Vita?
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
That's fucking, they really should have owned that and been like, the reason why everyone, which it really is everyone who's worked on the Vita has said this, it's the easiest to fucking code for a piece of hardware ever. Because you tell it to do something and then it does that something. There's no weird shit goes missing in something and there's some bus speed and blah, blah, blah. No, like...
You don't have to move everything through a 32 megabyte ES RAM slot?
No.
Whoa.
So it's neither the PSP nor the Xbox One. The PSP had a huge issue where it had one bus of RAM for the entire system to use.
Oh, God.
And so you were like, send this file. It's like, okay, I'm doing nothing else but that. Your frame rate shit.
You wanted to use a move in Final Fantasy Tactics? Here we go.
So what ended up being the trick, and this is still fucking crazy, which, once again, this gen is so not this anymore. It's beautiful. You would have to send the global display list, which is the instructions to draw the lines for the polygons on the screen. You would have to spit it out in small bursts. This list of drawing the lines on the goddamn screen, you would have to do it in small bursts, otherwise the bus would just be occupied that whole time. That would make everything else fuck up. Which is amazing. By the way, that's a CP Asminic story, so... that guy was awesome. I forget what his story was, or what his name was elsewhere, so only people who were on that one forum would know about his name. And the much less...
Makes that story better, because now it's super underground.
Yeah, just like our capture card. Yeah! We're so cool.
Did you bury our capture card?
What? Which one? And why do you ask?
God.
So, yeah, the story I, in the middle of an aggro tangent, alluded that I was going to deliver earlier. So, did you know that the Xbox division lost about $2 billion recently? I believe it was the last year. But it's completely covered because that division now is made up of a ton of different segments.
Right. It's now
That profit loss is completely overpowered by how much money they make on Android patent lawsuits, like patent licensing and lawsuits.
Wow.
I know. Isn't that doubly the most shittiest thing you've ever fucking heard?
That is Brilliant.
So you're hemorrhaging money here so you can win a fucking battle because you're going to do heinous fucking bullshit and sell people things that you should engineer into your goddamn thing in the first place, like the fucking battery pack. It still drives me insane, and anyone who's okay with that is a
Double A did better.
He has to deal with people on a regular basis. Bob has to deal with them because he works at a game store, who are okay and very vehement about being okay that double A's in the controller instead of a built-in rechargeable thing. They are okay with the fact they're being sold this controller and then they have to pay $15 extra.
Now it's more. It's what is it? 20 or $25
extra to make it fucking rechargeable.
Huh. I mean, honestly, after the day this young man looked me in the face and said he had come across someone who thought Lords of Shadow was better than God of War, I'm willing to either believe anything or disbelieve all of it. So,
and you ebb and flow between the two.
I exist in a quantum state of unsurety because if I have to pick one, I'm going to kill myself
or others.
Yeah,
or others, and then yourself,
or others, and or nor for yet.
Speaking of which, Bob, you should really listen to that last podcast, episode 14.
Yeah.
Sometime. Yes.
Check that out.
Because we had to explain to Eric.
Oh, no.
Lords of Shadow and why it's so fucking heinous. He's like, no, that's okay. There are bad games sometimes. I'm like, no, Eric, this isn't bad. This is heinous.
Yeah, it's a hate crime.
It is a hate crime of a game. Oh wait, no, I don't want to say that on the podcast. It'll spoil it.
What
remind me of this? I already told you about this idea, how we're going to cover certain Konami games going forward in a review format. I'll tell you after the podcast.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, because that's rich, and I don't want to spoil that. They have to see it. I am just fucking exhausted with all these people who are just insanely, like, dude, I'm okay with you having an Xbox One. You clearly are not okay with you having an Xbox One.
Right.
Can you just get over that? Like, it's those people who are like, no, I'm straight, man. I just don't like being around dudes. It makes me nervous. That dude being sweating in the corners makes me really uncomfortable because of how straight I am and how comfortable I am with my straightness. Yeah, that's it. It is totally that, and it is getting exhausting.
I've never seen so many journalists like back a company this hardcore. It's really weird.
I think calling the resolution thing a controversy at this point is insane. Like, the fact Digital Foundry called it Resolution Gate when they did an editorial on the internet reaction to the resolution.
I don't get why this is an issue. The resolution on one is better. That's a bullet point.
It's an issue that the Xbox sucks. It can't suck.
I guess that is a very large dogmatic problem for the modern journalism church of Microsoft.
Especially when it's Call of Duty and Battlefield, Call of Duty is the most, like, Microsoft crazy. They're drinking their Mountain Dew and Doritos and playing that.
What really hurts about this is that for the entire last gen, they happened to be right. That a lot of games ran better than 360, and 360 did this and this. It's just now that they're wrong, that you can see the glaring contrast in the pure light of day. And they won't just knock that shit off because it was reinforced for years because they happened to be correct.
Yeah.
For completely
and they
illegitimate
don't
reasons.
Fucking understand why that happened or why they
someone told
to
them,
correct.
like, I'd like a job as a game journalist. Okay, the 360 is better than the PS3. Okay. And then, like, no one came back by with the new memo. And that's still party line.
Yeah.
A while back on NeoGAF, during when, like, the resolution stuff hit and all this other stuff hit, there was also an article or a post about how
The Doritocracy.
What?
The Doritocracy?
No, what?
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a bit. You go with your thing because
I started hearing a lot of stuff about how snapping and
stuff was
and voice chat was
issues.
like not
actually
working.
party chat.
Party
it
chat.
was the
yeah.
party system as a whole.
Like the party system was set up like the PS3 has party.
To cover this in technical terms because this fucking horrifies me to the core, and I memorized all this information because I need to know if it's true when that comes out.
Right.
Basically, because of the virtualization layer between the game and the OS, and how those aren't one mesh thing like it was on the Xbox 360, there are APIs on the two ends of the system to pass off information. So when you have a party on the 360 like you do with the party system, and you go into a game, it's not like the 360. And terrible things are happening allegedly because of this. Like there's corroborated sources between people on this just isn't working yet. Xbox Live, which was the reason all of these assholes were 360 is good, PS3 is bad. We have to pay for online, but at least it's good. Sony has to charge for online. That bugs the shit out of me, that double standard right there.
Yeah.
Like, let's laugh at the people who didn't notice that they're charging for online now. No, dude, I think they're just okay with that because we had to deal with that last gen. That doesn't bug them as much as the things that the PS4 is doing right is good. So, whatever. Fucking... So, games are having issues. Party systems crashing entirely. For some reason, they don't even have a leader anymore. So, just anyone can jump into a game and it tries to drag everyone down to that abyss. All sorts of other issues. The snap feature, which is, of course, when the game zooms out or you snap another thing into it, like Bob was talking about with the scaling, has issues, according to this information.
I love how once videos of the snap thing started coming out, they were like, oh, I guess that proves all that other stuff wrong. It's like, no, he showed none of the apps are even working. Mm-hmm. And he showed like a minute.
Yeah.
We were talking about stability issues. Stability issues occur after a minute.
Like Bob was playing Call of Duty Ghosts all last night and a bit today. I come over and I pick up the controller and it crashes in like 2 minutes. That is a stability issue. And it occurred apparently about, 5 hours in?
I don't think I was playing that much. 3 hours, probably.
3 hours, yeah. So that may be a thing when the Xbox One comes out, that its OS is PS3 style.
Nice.
So about the fact, I hate Microsoft because they don't understand what's good about their products and they don't deliver on it when they do it more than once. They get this large following because they had the good online, they had the better hardware. And then they just fuck off and do the exact opposite of that. I hate that about them. I really do. Because there was none of that with any of Sony's stuff. There's just this widening gap of what Sony's engineers wanted to do and what game developers needed. Right? Which is why they were like, okay, Kutaragi-san. Fuck off! Okay, Mr. Maksani, come in.
Sony is ready for you now.
And then Kaz is sitting in his bathtub and he's like, Sony, come talk to me. Tell me things about what you will do with this new hardware.
It's like, no, there's no water in the tub. It's just yellow ducks.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. It was beautiful.
Over
it was
1 million.
Yeah, I always laugh at the stories of Sony talking about Kutaragi because they're so insane.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was a room full of people making informed decisions about things. It's 3 guys. Like, that was my favorite anecdote. I always thought it was like the fucking Pentagon or the Matrix, and it was crazy high tech with dozens of people working. No, it's 3 guys who made the decisions about the PS3.
Jesus.
We're all suffering because of those 3 guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
who
wow.
mostly did it because they were like, wouldn't it be badass if we made this super powerful chip? It'll be the CPU and the GPU. And then at some point they realized, no, can't do the GPU thing, but it's still a badass CPU.
So about the terrible upflow of information in Japanese power structures.
Yes. Yeah. My God, is Sony benefiting from ripping a lot of that from ripping its roots out and just building it again. Like, that's really starting to work in their favor. So that thing I started to say that you were just like, what? I didn't. So a website that isn't even, I believe it was cinemablend.com. They occasionally run things on gaming. Ran an article talking about the game journalism's Doritocracy and how all of these sites are fucking terrified to piss off their advertiser, which in this case is Microsoft because they're all over these websites.
yeah.
And they just aren't saying things. They're being unfaithful to their listeners and readers because they're afraid of Microsoft getting fucking upset.
That upsets me so much because I'm like, where's your integrity?
Yeah.
You're on the internet. That was supposed to fix this goddamn problem.
Yeah.
If they screw up or if they pull your funding, get some other funding.
Right.
If they pull your funding, write an article about how they pulled your funding for telling the truth and get 8 million goddamn hits.
Yeah.
Exactly. That worked for EGM with their Metal Gear Solid 4 thing way back when Dan Chu's like, I'm not reviewing this. I'm not signing that. Holy shit. The NDA was like the hugest ever.
Nice.
Wow.
In the history of Dan Chu reviewing shit. That was just fucking enormous. So, yeah, my favorite part is when everyone in game journalism reacted to that article with extreme, I don't know the term. It's not contempt. They just thought it was hilarious. And isn't that funny? They think that's how this works.
Yeah.
And so did a lot of people.
Called being a snarky bitch.
It's just,
Bought and paid for sop of shit.
I would jam out to that song. I think that's Radio Rock, probably. Yeah. You bought and paid for sap of shit. Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
get the
Yeah.
Offspring on there and get in there.
No,
No.
we don't.
No.
We don't?
No.
Okay.
New Offspring? Come on, man.
No, you have to get the group
Time
back
Machine.
together.
You build robot offspring. And then
Like Robotnik?
with the drummer from Blink-182.
Do you know about Robotnik?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a robot.
They showed off some more footage of Robotnik.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like-
Does he have metal feet and metal joints?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. 15 silver coins and everything.
Awesome.
It's great. Yep.
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 So, and I mean, I'm not saying every site is a sellout, but I am positive a lot of these people are just terrified of saying, this is just a worse version of this other thing. Why would you buy this?
So,
The one thing
Yeah, I
that
know.
fucking drives, okay, here, very succinctly, the one thing that absolutely drives me nuts about all of these journalists, even people over the PlayStation podcast at IGN and fucking do this, they're like, I don't see any reason you wouldn't buy both. Because, asshole,
Wow.
it's $500.
I might actually say something here seriously that I'm going to burn my tongue out for. Damn, man. Check your privilege.
Yeah. Because it's
Yeah,
like, I
that's-
know you're paid
Wow.
better than the statistically average American. Like, I know this. I know. I shouldn't know, but I know vaguely what the people who said that are paid. And I know the average census, or the average tax return, per year. They tell you how much the average American makes if you look at certain sources. And yeah, they make more than the average American. So yeah, fucking check your privilege at the goddamn door. Or even better, get some fucking priorities, because there's no goddamn reason a person should spend $500 on what looks like a company that's just paying random studios to make exclusives, which haven't even shown a caliber of quality to justify buying a $300 piece of hardware for. That's fucking ridiculous. Yes, there is an air of this to you need to cover it because it's your job. And that's fucking true. You should probably own it so you know what it is. That doesn't at all extend outside of your fucking realm. The consumer should not buy this $500 piece of hardware just to play Titanfall. Because guess what, asshole? The market will bend. If no one fucking bought an Xbox One come launch day, if no one even owned one before Titanfall came out, if somehow hell froze over and that occurred, EA would bring that to the PS4. It's not like they're going to be like, we're never
I
making
don't know. EA would try. Microsoft would tie it up in court and bring him down to hell with them.
They don't have rights to the sequels. Just Titanfall 1. And they've stressed this multiple times. Titanfall 1,
Okay.
the original Titanfall, is tied to the Xbox One.
Because I've been
360
hearing
PC.
hastily written articles say like the entire Titanfall
They're
IP.
fucking wrong. See?
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking annoying?
Uh-huh.
And then these same people turn around and this was before it was announced that Titanfall 1 wouldn't be coming to other consoles. Before they announced that was a thing that Microsoft had paid out the ass for, because every journalist ever was like, man, if Microsoft knew what they were doing, they would buy that exclusivity. And then Microsoft heard it enough times to be like, hey,
maybe we should do that. Let's do that. Maybe it'll work.
Before that, they were like, yeah, I mean, it's eventually going to the PS4, but really, people should buy an Xbox One for Titanfall. They fucking said this straight-faced. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Don't you have better things to spend $500 on? Shit! There are so many things you could buy for $500 that are better than an Xbox One if you have a PS4, which is the point I'm trying to make. My whole worldview is, if you fucking have a PS4, there is very little reason to buy an Xbox One additionally on top of that for $500 fucking dollars. And additionally, multi-platforms are just better on the PS4, so why the fuck would you buy an Xbox One? And that has been the running theme for the last 6 months. Thank you and good night.
TV. I can't watch TV without my Xbox One.
I love how like journalists are like, and then we'll be able to hook our PS4s up through our Xbox One, and then there's like maybe, rarely one guy in the room. Actually, Microsoft themselves said that's a terrible idea because of the latency. And they still don't like understand that. They don't understand latency as a concept. These people are fucking stupid. It really is you want to write stories, don't you? Well, the 360 is better than the PS3. Here you go. Sell 10 newspapers by the end of the day.
Yep.
I've had conversations with Rakana. Like, I believe people should be more qualified to review games. I think they should know how to program. I think they should understand systems and hardware and things. Because the insane shit I read out of these things where they blame the games a lot of the times for a limitation of the hardware fucking drives me nuts. I forget what the last one was, but yeah, I really do believe these people should be more qualified, so that way they should know that Call of Duty Ghost is absolutely unbelievably the cheapest motherfucking piece of shit ever goddamn made. That the off-year Infinity Ward games are unbelievably not made by talented people, that it is just a studio that's been razed to the ground and every aspect has been outsourced beyond belief. Because, yeah, you see 3 companies, if you include Infinity Ward, masthead on the game. But they outsource more than that. You didn't see 17 mastheads on Resident Evil 6. That's because it's Capcom's game, and they outsourced shitloads of parts to other companies and then basically said, you're going to be in the credits because we're Capcom and fuck you. Mm-hmm. How many people do you think they do that for Call of Duty? Resident Evil 6 is like that. I mean, shit. It's just fuck all these journalists who have no idea what they're talking about. It just drives me nuts. It fucking drives me nuts. It really does. It really, really does. I think these people should be classically trained in any of the things that go into a video game. Except for narrative. Fuck all these people who know anything about writing and story arcs and are super into that. They were like, video games need to do this. And I'm like, no, video games aren't good at that. They're good at this other thing. Stop demanding this thing from video games because you're asking for mechanics to be limited in order to deliver a story. It's like you showed up at a Starbucks and started demanding fresh bread because you demanded that they were a Paneras. Aggro looks thoughtful. Want to counterpoint that?
Well, I'm just thinking along the lines of Carl Jung and the Universal Gestalt, that if enough people at the same time demanded that all Starbucks were Paneras, I'm like, what would the weight differential be if all that coffee turned into bread?
Starbucks, in case you didn't know, recently launched a new type of store, which is a tea store.
Huh,
that's
interesting.
That's the echelon
I'm totally down for that.
of douchiness we're escalating to. Like, we have this coffee store because people need coffee to get up and running in the day, but we're premium coffee and we're better than those other coffee stores. So all those coffee stores close down and then they're like, shit, we're no longer the elitist douchebags of this industry. We're basically the cornerstone. Time to go tea.
Yeah, tea.
You fuckers need tea? We got tea.
Tea, motherfucker.
Not even in the same store. It's just a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's got its own name. I fucking forgot because it was so insane.
Yeah, tea's a whole different culture.
I was like,
I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, wow.
So this is where we dress up in brownface, put on really horrible American Indian costumes, and go ransack one, right?
Yes.
Nice. American history for the win.
Yep. Sorry about that giant rant, everyone. I really am. I get really passionate about the fact that no one in the industry seems like they need to know how a video game is made to critically talk about video game development and video games. Like, it is a fucking tragedy when multiple podcasts on leading websites for games coverage can say the sentence, why don't they port it? Why is this an exclusivity thing? Why don't they just click file save as? Like, they understand games so poorly that they think that is possible. Fuck them. There.
I'm
done. Yep.
Pretty much.
I'm done. You done?
I think I'm done.
You done?
I'm done.
We're done.
Hand me that DualShock 4 again.
Okay, here you go. Here's that DualShock 4 aggro.
It's nice.
As a last really quick note, and I know that was a really good way to end a podcast, but I really gotta say this. I really want to try out the Xbox One controller. Because I heard something from somebody that was really negative. And looking at it, what they said seems like it could be true, but I think it's just too crazy to be true.
What?
Well, it feels, according to this person, like a really cheap Mad Catz controller, and the sides of it are too sharp.
Yeah, I've heard not good things from several sources, including my manager, who got to mess with it, and apparently the back of it, it's all flat across the back, so there's nowhere to put your fingers at all.
It's just crazy that they sunk so much money into engineering the new controller, which they keep bragging about how much they sunk into that.
There's 51 adjustments, and it's and what, $10 billion or something.
Yeah, it's tens of millions is whether it's 10 million or 20 or 40 or whatever. Yeah, they keep bragging about that, and I don't want to believe they made the controller worse too.
Yeah, that's
I don't
crazy.
want to believe that.
Like, I'm glad that we know someone who's getting one, because I want to touch that.
I'm really glad we know someone who's getting one too, because unfortunately the majority of us, we
don't have $900 to throw at nothing.
Yeah. We don't have $500 to throw at redundant products.
I mean, Dead Rising looks kind of neat, but I would never buy a console for Dead Rising.
I wouldn't buy a console for those exclusives either, and even on Sony's side, I mean, whatever Naughty Dog does is going to be insane. But I don't know that if it was just a much worse console, that I'd be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the whole, the Xbox One's still much associated with DRM rape.
Right?
Like, it's just, if you buy that, you're saying you're fine with that. I still think that.
Basically supporting that ideology, yeah.
And that's really frustrating that people don't seem to get that.
There's a tiny ridge on top of the L and R2 buttons, so it's easier to slide your finger down and push them from the top.
Yeah, so that way you can physically distinguish.
That's so awesome.
It is. That controller is really good. That controller alone is the best product Sony has put out.
This is 3 generations of controller iteration happening all at once.
3?
So much joy.
I don't know. 3. What was 3 for Nintendo? It was NES to N64. Or if you look at it a bit more nice, Super NES to GameCube. This is more than 3. I'm willing to say that.
Well, it's more they haven't done anything in 3, so now we're getting a whole pile.
I get that. I get that.
All of that joy is packed in right here.
Yeah.